Welcome to the latest episode of Claw's Corner. Today's guest is a singer, songwriter, and musician from the band Blacklist Union. Their music has the perfect combination of punk influence infused with great rock and roll. Their albums include After the Morning, Breaking Bread with the Devil, Till Death Do Us Part, Back to Momo, and Letters from the Psych Ward. My guest song inspiration comes from his life experiences, including struggles with addiction, difficult family relationships, and personal healing. He draws heavily on the themes of overcoming adversity, finding strength through hardship, and the human condition. Their latest single, Up in Smoke, was released last month, and their latest album, Slay the Dragon, will be released in September. So without further ado, please welcome singer, songwriter, and musician, Tony West from the band Blacklist Union to the Claw's Corner. Tony, how the hell are you?
Doing great, man. Thank you. We're driving up Laurel Canyon on my Harley. About to stop at the country store, and right now, driving by Jim Morrison's old house.
You know what's funny? A couple years ago, I saw the documentary Echo in the Canyon. Jacob Dylan did it.
Oh, yeah.
Great documentary. But it was perfect timing because a week after that, I ended up going to California. My girlfriend's friends were there. So I said, we have to stop at Laurel Canyon. We did a tour of that whole area, and it was great because it was so fresh in my mind. I know exactly what country store you're talking about, where Mama Cass lived, and also the Jim Morrison thing, which I think is right next door to that.
Yeah.
So you live in Laurel Canyon?
Yeah, I do.
How long have you lived there?
Hold on one second. Hey, bro, will you help me? Hey, bro, could you help me? I just dropped my bike. I got to pull it up. Fucking dropped my bike, dude.
Well, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was making a turn and it fucking fell over.
Oh, man.
Would you mind helping me? Thank you. This shit I can't do. I did it once by myself, but don't think about it. Super. I got it. Ready? Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
The clutch just went out. Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks. Thank you, bro.
So where are you, on the side of the road right now?
Yeah, I'm Hey, will you guys help me push it here? The fucking clutch broke. Hold on, let me put it in neutral. Motherfucker. I have to call AAA. I'm in a band called Blacklist Union. All right, if you try pushing it. Fuck. Hold on. Okay, fuck. All right, now try. Thank you guys so much. All right.
William.
Hey, how are you? Tony. Nice to meet you, bro.
Get a store global. It's a hotel for these guys.
Oh, cool. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, all good. Thank you so much. Blacklist Union.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right. Hold on one second, bro. I'll be right there with you. I'm on the phone. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Nice to meet you. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. Here I am.
All right.
Fucking. Yeah. So I just dropped my bike and the fucking clutch got fucked up. So I'm going to have to call AAA.
Oh, man.
That's all right.
No, I think because we're going to talk about all the different things you've been through, and I see it firsthand, some of the things that you actually go through on a daily basis.
It's like, what are you going to do, man? All you can do is roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, no, I love one of the things you said. We're going to get into some of the heavy stuff that actually happened to you throughout your life, but you had a great comment, and I make this comment all the time. It makes you forget to sweat the small. You don't sweat the small stuff anymore because you're like, you know what? This is nothing compared to what other people go through.
And guess what? It's all small stuff, all of it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too because I have friends that they're always depressed and always anxious. I'm like, you know what? My brother's wife, unfortunately she's dead now, but she had cancer, and
Yeah.
she was in really bad shape. And I said, I bet you my brother's wife wishes she had your problem. Oh, you don't understand. I said, I do understand. Your problems are nothing compared to what she's going through. She's fighting for her life, and she lost that battle. And you're
Fucks, I'm
complaining
sorry.
about that they ran out of a drink at a restaurant. So it's,
Yeah, yeah.
so I love the fact that I mean, everything you've been through, you have such a positive attitude.
Oh, well, I have my moments, but thank you.
Yep. Well, I want to congratulate you on some of the. I became friends with you on Facebook, and I was looking at some of the things. And very recently, you posted this. It said in the past 30 days, Blacklist Union had 14,320 listeners, 11,110 new
Thank you.
listeners. You can add me to that list. I've been listening to you the last couple of weeks, ever since Shauna gave me the information about your band, and I am a huge fan. I love
Nice. Thank you.
Yep. And then I'm not sure what this means. It says 1,899 listeners are in their active audience. What does that mean?
I have no idea. I think it means that we're active in their playlists or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do you know what this means? Because I saw this on your Facebook. It says 25 super listeners. What's a super listener?
Tweakers? I don't know.
Okay. Whatever they are, they're listeners. That's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah. Super listeners, like big fans, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, another thing, too, I want to congratulate you for on the secondary market radio chart. You went from 44 to 36. So you're climbing the charts. Band's doing very well. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, we've debuted at #1 a few times on that chart. And that's kind of like when I was growing up, the college music radio charts, you know, it's sort of the same kind of
Yeah.
idea. Yeah. But yeah, thank you.
Yep. Before we get into the band and your latest single, Up in Smoke, and Slay the Dragon, I want to talk about some of the things because very recently the world, you know, was depressed because Ozzy died, and I'm sure you were a big fan of his.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, you know, there's singers that I've studied, and Ozzy was one of them. In his Sabbath days, you know, when I was becoming a singer, Andrew Wood and Ozzy, I'm in the same wheelhouse as them, as their vocal style and stuff. And I know so many Sabbath songs. It's crazy. But I got to meet Ozzy a few times, and he was just a nice, humble, funny, witty guy, man. Like, and such a huge influence on me. And when I was in 7th grade, I went in my uncle's room and discovered the Paranoid record,
Mm-hmm.
and I would listen to Iron Man over and over and over and over, you know. And
Yeah.
or was that on? Yeah, that was on Paranoid, or that was on.
I'm not. I'm not sure what you know. I know all the songs. I'm not sure exactly which album at the time, but
Yeah, yeah. But I
either
would
way,
listen
he's
to
a
that
huge
song and
influence.
all Sabbath, and even the my uncle had like Heaven and Hell and all that shit with Dio.
I love
But
the Dio years. Yeah.
I love Ozzy and Dio, but I gotta tell you, my favorite Sabbath album is Born Again with Ian Gillan.
Yes, you know what's funny? I'm glad you said that because I am a huge fan of that album, and so many
Yeah.
people trash it. No pun intended, because I love that song, "Trash."
Mhm.
But from what I heard, that wasn't even supposed to be a Black Sabbath album. That was supposed to be a Tony Iommi solo album because Don Arden was having this big war with Sharon. This is what I heard on a documentary on YouTube. Who knows how true it is? But they're
Yeah.
like, "No, we're gonna make it Black Sabbath because we want to." Everybody's expecting Black Sabbath versus Ozzy. This is when you know he left the band. They were going back and forth. And Sharon, basically, with Sharon and Don, her father and daughter were going back and forth. But anyway, I love that album, and so many people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that sucks." I said, "No way."
No
I mean,
way.
Ian Gillan, first of all, is a great vocalist. And I
One
guess
of the best. Yeah, for sure.
I guess people got mad because you know they one of the encores was "Smoke on the Water." I'm like, who cares? Have fun with it. You know,
Right, right.
so, but the reason I bring up Ozzy is because
Yeah.
not only you know the huge influence, but I saw that you some band hired you to sing the Ozzy and Lita hit "Close My Eyes Forever."
Yeah, I'm going in on Studio Friday to do that here in Hollywood. So I'm looking forward to that. I ran the song a few times on Saturday. You know, I have a strict vocal routine that I do. But I ran the song probably 5 times after singing 21 songs. And but yeah, I can't wait to go in and do it justice. And all the nuances and stuff are so important, you know. And if we do a video, I definitely want to do the stuff Ozzy was doing in it, because some of it's, you know, comical, you know. And I just loved him so much. Like, I have goosebumps, man. Like, that's a heavy fucking loss for so many, man.
Oh, yeah.
Especially his poor wife, dude. I mean, her fucking face on when at the funeral thing, you know, and they like, I mean, she looked absolutely 1,000,000% depleted, you
Yeah.
know. And my heart goes out to her and her kids and stuff. It's just awful. But
Yeah, no, I saw that. Was what she went like this. She did the Ozzy sign. She couldn't keep it together at all. But I can't blame her. they've been together forever, and
Yeah,
through thick and thin of everything that happened between those two, and
right.
she basically helped him get to where he is. They made a great team.
He did.
Yep.
Legendary for sure.
Yep. So, what's the name of this band that you're going to be doing? Close My Eyes Forever, and when will it be coming out?
They're called Honey. Here, I'll tell you right now. Let me just look. And I always forget the last part of it.
Okay.
Let me see. What do they call it again? Let me see. Sorry, taking a second. Honey Trap. They're called Honey Trap.
Okay. I
Yeah,
got to check that
and
out.
they have a chick singer, and she's good and sexy, and so we're gonna do Ozzy some justice.
All right. Well, I'm definitely looking forward. Do you have a release date set?
No, no, we're just going in the studio. I'm gonna cut mine vocal on Friday, so we're gonna take it from there.
All right. Well, before we get to Blacklist Union, another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I see that you saw that you were a part of not that long ago. It was called Crew Fest Hollywood.
Yeah. So we do that every year. You know, my first wife died from cancer. I have many friends that died from cancer. David Roach from Junkyard just died from cancer yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I
I
saw
knew
that.
him, and he was a huge influence on me when I was a kid, Junkyard. But the Crew Fest, we've been doing that every year for a while, and we do two hometown gigs a year, one at the Whiskey and then one at Bar Sinister, which is coming up in September.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I mean, I'm guessing it has to do with Vince Neil's daughter.
yeah, it's we raise money for cancer awareness in the name of Skylar Neal. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And
So
how long have you been doing this, or they've been doing this?
they've been doing it a long time, like I think over 20 years.
Wow.
Hmm.
So, besides Blacklist Union, what other bands have play there?
I mean, you know, they have different bands play every year. I mean, we usually headline it and, you know, we're the main band and stuff, but I mean, it's always a good time. The guy that runs it, Nick Colves is his name. He lives in Indiana. He's a great guy. It's just such a pleasure to deal with. And then they have a host, Eric Hatchett. He sings in this band called LA Story. They always play too.
All right.
So
Very cool. You're definitely keeping busy. You're all over the place. I love it. Now, your latest single came out very recently, and I love the video. I love the song. It's called "Up in Smoke."
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, what is the inspiration of that song? 'Cause I know pretty much every song that you write has some deep meaning behind it.
Yeah, I mean that song, you know, man, I went through a hideous divorce. And you know, I still love this person and I was so deeply hurt for so long and it was just so much. And but basically, you know, so much is about that. But Up in Smoke, like I always tell my kids, you know, it's called the present because if you can stay in the moment, it's a gift. You know what I mean? So if you're stressed, it's either, oh, you regret what happened yesterday, or, you know, if you're worried, you know, you're worried about the future and shit. And all we have is right now, this moment. Like that's all we have is moments, you know, and even in my life, like some of my most beautiful, precious moments were with my children, just doing nothing, like when they were little, like playing or, you know what I mean? It didn't cost any money either, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it's about primarily staying in the moment because you have no control over anyone but yourself, you
Hmm.
know, anyone's emotions, anyone's opinions, anything like that. You know what I mean? So it's basically just focusing on yourself and staying in the moment is what that song's about. And I love the line, you know, if I'm too much, try someone less, you know, that's definitely a poke at my ex-wife. That's for sure.
Well, you know what's funny? I love the teachings of Buddhism, and the
Yeah.
Buddhism is very big in that. Live in the moment. Don't worry about what's going to be, what that you can't control. Don't worry about the future. It didn't happen. It's not happening yet. Don't think about the past that already did happen. So
Right. Right.
I love that mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Sometimes it's hard to do, but for the most part, I am living in the moment, and I try to live by that, and it definitely makes me much happier.
You know, a lot of the inspiration for Letters from the Psych Ward and the new record Slay the Dragon. After my guitar player died, Todd Youth, we did the Back to Momo record, and I sought refuge in the Amazon jungle in Peru with the Shipibo Indians
Hmm.
and did ayahuasca, which was life changing, life altering, so deeply, profoundly healing. You know, I had all this trauma, you know, from death mostly,
Yeah.
and then childhood stuff, and you know survival, all that stuff. So, but going to the jungle literally changed me from the inside out, where it changed my view of the world, myself, everything, my children, music, art, everything.
Yep.
So,
Well, we're going to get into all that, and I want to go back to Todd Youth because I am a huge fan of Todd Youth. It's several years ago I interviewed Israel Joseph I
yeah,
from
Fireburn. Yeah,
Fireburn,
yeah.
and I interviewed him for 5 hours. It was like,
Wow.
and he raved and raved and raved about Todd Youth.
Hold
I
on
was
one second. Hold on one second, bro. What's that? It's tobacco. Yeah, I'll send it this way. I'll mail it that way. Okay. But sorry, bro.
no problem. Was that the neighbor?
That's Tommy. He owns the place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, so I wanted to say is that he loved Todd Youth, and I know your relationship. But I
Yeah,
want
I
to get
know.
to that. But for people who don't know, it's so funny. Like at 13 years old, he was in Courage and Conformity. At 16, he was in Warzone. I saw him several times when he was in Murphy's Law. I used to play all the time. I love those albums that he was on.
Me too.
Bloodspot with John Joseph.
Yeah, that's a great record, man.
Yeah, it
With
is.
Nick Oliveri and Joey Castillo. Yeah. I remember when Todd was doing that record and he invited me to the studio and I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. So
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to say. It's like not only that, but then you got like he was in Danzig, Degeneration. He played
yeah.
with Ace Frehley, Glenn Campbell.
Yeah, man.
The guy has done so much, and I mean, like I've seen videos of him on YouTube where he's like 13 years old, like I said, playing these clubs. And he's how did he and you become friends?
So, I grew up in New York seeing him play.
Yeah.
And then he moved to LA. I moved to LA and we became friends. We were working at a telemarketing office and then we became friends, like close friends. And whatchamacallit, it was funny because we were working at this office and he was like, bro, I just got a call from Glenn Campbell's people. I'm supposed to do this Glenn Danzig tour. What should I do? And I said, Rhinestone Cowboy all the way, dude. And he goes, why? I go, what? I go, dude, it's top tier. You have to do it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And then Glenn Danzig wasn't too happy about his choice, but Todd did it. Did a bunch of like talk shows, like Conan and that kind of stuff with Glenn Campbell. I think he even recorded a live record with them. But yeah, Todd was always busy. He had his hand in everything.
Well, I love how his eclectic taste, like I said, going from Glenn Danzig to Glenn Campbell to Murphy's Law to DJ.
Yeah.
I mean, he could play, and he fit in with everything. He was. I've seen videos with he and Glenn Campbell, phenomenal. Then I saw him on stage with Murphy's Law, so much fun. It's just yeah. So I mean, he's. So how old were the two of you when you met him? Was it later? Like, because I know that he's been around in the punk scene since a small kid.
Yeah, yeah. He actually played in Agnostic Front when he was 12.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, but we were friends 20 years,
Wow.
25 years. Yeah.
Wow. And unfortunately, as we all know that he passed away as well. As like you said, that was another one of your tragedies that you went through. But I mean,
Yeah, man. When he died, I was like, I can't let this ruin my life because I had lost my girlfriend in a car accident. I lost my first wife from cancer.
yeah.
And that fucking was devastating. Took me years to recuperate from that. And then when Todd died, I was like, I can't let this destroy me. And that's like 2 months later, I was in the jungle with the Indians in Peru.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to that, but first I want to talk about some of the other tragedies because I think was it Tracy was your ex-wife or the wife
Yeah.
that died? Unfortunately, she died of cancer, and then I want to talk about the crying you heard and how you got to end.
The crying I heard,
You said after Tracy died, you said you heard crying all the time, and there was something you did.
yeah. So
crying finally disappeared.
So one time I was on my couch in my old apartment and I heard, oh no. I had walked down to meet my friend Billy Worth from the Lost Boys, the movie The Lost Boys.
Yes.
And whatchamacallit, I go back up to my apartment and I hear this crying and I'm like, that's Tracy crying. I go, well, that can't be Tracy. She's dead. So I had this girl in my bed. And as I got to my apartment, I thought the crying got louder. And then, I opened the door in a rush and the girl's asleep and the crying stops. Then a couple weeks later, I'm on the same in the same apartment and I hear the crying again. And I said, Tracy, what is it? I go, if they're telling you to go, I'll meet you there. Just go. Whatchamacallit, and I go, I forgive you. I know you forgive me, Tracy. It's okay. And the crying stopped. I never heard it again. And
Wow.
but we have a song on the second record called Feel Me, which is about that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever had any other paranormal experiences?
Oh man, so many, especially after the ayahuasca and stuff. I mean, yeah.
All right.
And then the visions and the dreams and all that.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I just want to talk about. I mean, everything you've been through started at a very early age. I want to talk about age one. What happened to you with a car?
Yeah, so I grew up in the Bronx and I had just started walking and apparently, my mom was 19, 20, and I slipped under a car. Was parallel parking, so it reversed over my legs and then pulled forward over my legs. Broke
Wow.
both my legs. They said I'd never walk again. And then my grandfather, who was from Italy, um, he said, "Fuck that! You can't tell him he can't walk." And apparently, he's the one that coached me in the walking again. And it's the same grandfather who they told him he had 6 months to live, and he's like, "F you! You can't tell me how long I have to live." And he lived 25 more years. But I learned from a very young age, it's mind over body.
Hmm.
Number one. Yeah, I mean, it was a heavy thing, and that incident, I saw it in real time under the medicine, the ayahuasca. The angels showed me that, and they
Wow.
said, "Do you want to see what the root is of your stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was the accident, and I never used this word before this moment, but the angels were aghast by it. I've never used that word. And we have a song, "Do It for the Song," on the new record. It's called "Do It for the Song," and I talk about that. And because "Do It for the Song" is about, you know, all this suffering, all this triumph, all this stuff, it's all for the art. It's all for the music, man. For me, like everything is for the music. It always has been since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So did you grow up in an abusive home?
I mean, yeah, there was all kinds of abuse.
Okay.
So, and
So
then of course, as a young kid, you turn to drugs and alcohol to all that whole mess. So,
yeah. Well, speaking of age five, though, I want to talk about this because I'm getting. Seems like music has always been there for you and helped you get through so many different things. At age five, I want to talk about that poster on the wall with the girl, and that changed
yeah,
your life.
yeah. My uncle, I was like, "Who's that girl in that poster?" He's like, "That's no girl. That's David Bowie." And I was never the same again. I mean, that shaped my life.
Yeah, no, David Bowie was the best, man. Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, man. We did a cover of Golden Years
Yep.
on Letters from a Psych Ward, and that came about because me and DH from Dead Kennedys and Xander from the Circle Jerks, we just went in and recorded some songs for fun, and we did Gates of Steel and Bowie's Golden Years, and then DH died.
Ugh.
So I was like, "Xander, are you cool with me putting them on the record?" He's like, "Of course." So we put them on the Letters from the Psych Ward record for DH.
Well, it sounded great. I have to say, I want to
Thank
talk
you.
about that because I loved your version of that. And did you ever have a chance to actually meet Bowie?
I never met Bowie, but I did see him live.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I've seen him. It's funny. I saw him on one of his farewell tours, and it was the Greatest Hits tour. And then I saw him again when it was he and Nine Inch Nails, and that was a
Oh
great.
wow.
Yeah, what I loved about that tour is Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor would come out, and then they'd sing a song. One band member would leave. One David Bowie's band members would come on. Another play another song. Another band member would leave. One David Bowie's band would come on. Finally, Trent Reznor walks off stage. David Bowie walks on stage, and then that was it. No intermission. Just bam. They kept on playing a song. New member would come on, and then they went right into David Bowie's set. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. That's
Yeah.
great.
And at that time he didn't play any of his old songs that everybody expected, but I love that stuff too. It was
Oh
more
wow.
industrial stuff. That was probably the last. It was like 95, 96, somewhere around there.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice.
So it sounds like, as I mentioned in the intro, and you had a huge punk influence as well.
Yeah. I mean, huge Ramones freak. I
Yep.
love the Ramones. Dee Dee was my friend, interviewed them as a kid, seen them probably 2 dozen times. But not only that, I mean, the Dead Kennedys were huge for me, the Circle Jerks, of course,
Mhm.
Fear, a
Yeah.
lot of New York hardcore stuff. GBH, Exploited. GBH is a huge influence on me.
Mhm.
Actually, Fireburn was touring with GBH right before Todd died, and um, I was selling merch for them at this show in San Francisco, and I was like, "Yo, Todd, can you introduce me to Colin from GBH?" And He was like, wait, are you fanboying out right now? I was like, yeah, totally. And I've met everyone, and I cared about meeting three people, and that was Colin from GBH.
Hmm.
The first time I met David Lee Roth, and then I met Michael Jackson. So
Wow. You
yeah,
met. All right, let's talk about because it's funny. I just interviewed somebody who wrote a book on David Lee Roth, and we are going through all the ups and downs. What was he like when you met him?
he was super cool. I said to him, Roth, man, I go, I used to listen to you when I was a little piece of shit. Now I'm a big piece of shit. He's like, ha ha ha, have a seat. And then I was sitting there with Roth at the Rainbow, and I don't know, he must have did one of these to his guy or something, because all of a sudden his guy's like, "Yo, you got to split." I'm like, "Well, Roth said I could sit here." He's like, "You got to split." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "It's all good."
That's it.
But he was fine. He was cool.
Oh yeah, and now the big one is I never talked to anybody that actually met Michael Jackson. What was that like?
Yeah, dude. I was at an after Grammys party, and my friend goes, "I'll be right back. I'm going to the bathroom." All of a sudden, Michael Jackson walks in by himself.
Oh my
And
God.
so I was able to stick my hand out, introduce myself, and have this talk with him about everything from like the Jackson 5 cartoon to I had an off the wall skateboard when I was a kid. But I realized later it wasn't for the record, it might have been for Vans. But we talked about all kinds of stuff, man. And I remember it was like I blinked my eyes and all of a sudden we're encircled by paparazzi, and Brooke Shields is suddenly there.
Ah,
So they were like, Michael Brooks, stand over there near the fountain. Then the photographer hits me in the shoulder and goes, "And you stand over there too." I'm like, "All right." So I have my right arm around Michael Jackson. Brooke Shields is on the other side. My friend walks out of the bathroom like, "What the hell?" Like he's like, "Only you, West. I leave you alone for 30 seconds. There you are with the paparazzi taking pictures of Michael Jackson." Like,
I love this. So
yeah.
he actually was very cool, and he was he had a
So
good
nice, so cool. And I see his daughter around a lot.
yeah.
We're friends, and she's absolutely stunningly beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. But she's also a beautiful soul and spirit, which makes her even more beautiful. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
Very sweet, humble, nice girl. I mean, and stunning, stunning.
Well, that I don't know about the personality, but I never met her. But stunning look
Yeah,
wise, I agree with you 1,000%.
absolutely. Yeah,
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 she's beautiful.
yeah. She is.
There's one more punk band I want to talk about. I want to talk about your connection with them, the Dead Boys.
Yeah. Okay. So my friend in Houston, she was like, Tony, I don't know your band. She goes, "But my friend Cheetah loves you. You know him?" And I said, "No." I said, "The only Cheetah I know is Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys." And she goes, "That's him." I'm like, "Wait, Cheetah Chrome told you about me?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What the hell?" So next thing you know, we were on the road with them, and we did a bunch of dates, and they had a fill-in drummer, and he was kind of douchey. And do you know this story already? I
Well,
haven't really told.
my fans don't, so I want to talk. I did want to talk about that story.
Yeah. So yeah, what happened was the drummer, he was a fill-in drummer, and he lives with my friend. And right away, he was just a dick. And we're not new, and like we shake hands, we remember names, we're respectful to everyone, polite and all of that stuff. And I make sure my band is like no ego, rock star nonsense.
Yep.
So I remember like the second night in, the Dead Boys were in a van with no trailer, right? And I told the drummer from the Dead Boys, I said, "Hey, bro, you can put your drums in our trailer. We have room." And he just shut me down like I was some punk and stuff. So anyway, we're doing the gigs, and like he's yelling at our crew, he's yelling at our band guys, like all this shit. And I'm trying to like diffuse everything and make sure everything's cool and smooth, because we don't want to have any problems with anyone. We really did try. So the last night at the DNA Lounge in San Francisco, you know, uh, I told my drummer, I don't know if you know that room, the DNA Lounge, but it's a legendary room. And they had this big drum riser. And I was like, "Look, dude, don't set up on the drum riser. There's plenty of room on the stage. We know how this drummer is. Don't set up on the drum riser. We have plenty of room." He's like, "Okay, okay." So I go to the RV. I come back an hour later. This dude, we had a fill-in drummer ourselves for that tour. And this dude sets up on the riser. So I go, "Bro," I go up to the stage. I said, "Dude, I just told you, don't fucking set up on the drum riser." Then Sheeta and the drummer walk in. I'm
Hmm.
like, "See, now you make me look like an ass. Like, take the drums off of there and put them on the stage." And that's the straw that broke the camel's back for them. So my friend Chris Contos, he's this drummer from Machine Head, like he's been in all kinds of bands, punk rock bands, Attitude Adjustment, all kinds of stuff. But he's a Dead Boys fan. He had the whole band sign his jacket. So when it came time for the drummer to sign the jacket, he wouldn't sign it. And that's when I was like, you know what, dude, I said, Cheetah's been great to us. Your tour manager's great. Your band is great, but you're a douchebag. I go, why don't you try to hit me so I can beat your ass? And that's exactly what happened.
I
So,
love it.
and I remember the next day when we were driving from San Francisco back to LA, dude, I felt Todd and DH, and they were like, fuck yeah. Like those guys would have been proud of me, man, because
Yeah.
I had to stick up, for my crew and my band. Like we're not fucking, we sometimes you got to demand respect. And, it's funny because our guitar player D ran into Monk, the rhythm guitar player for the Dead Boys in Vegas. And Monk was like, when are you guys coming on tour with us again? So, but my manager was not very happy, I got to tell you at first. And then, but it's fine. I mean, shit happens. And it's funny. There's a funny story because Rose Tattoo played out here.
Mhm.
And I'm a huge Rose Tattoo fan. Me and Todd covered Rock and Roll Outlaw, a Rose Tattoo song on the Back to Momo record. But so a couple of their guys have problems with visas or whatever. And Johnny Martin, my friend that plays in LA Guns bass, he was filling in for Rose Tattoo. And I said, who do you have on drums? He's like, oh, the guy you were touring with that played with the Dead Boys. And I was like, so I didn't say anything to Johnny. I didn't want to,
Yeah.
So I went to the gig, man, Rose Tattoo. I had so much fun. And I hadn't had that much fun in years, singing every word. Like I just loved them. And afterwards, I was hanging out with Jet Boy. Jet Boy opened the gig. So I was talking to Billy Rowe and Mickey Finn. And I was like, yo, guys, I go, there's no way I can let Angry Anderson come into town and not say hi to him. So I walked into their dressing room and I was like, Angry, my name's Tony West. I sing in Blacklist Union. We did a record with Todd Youth and we covered Rock and Roll Outlaw. And he's like, oh, I heard about that. I'm like, did you hear it? And I'm like, he goes, no, I heard about it though. And we're talking all this rock and roll, like deep down the rabbit hole. Then all of a sudden I go, listen, bro, I don't want to make anything uncomfortable or anything, but I beat up your drummer like 3 months ago and I probably should split. And I remember, dude, Angry Anderson's face, dude, his jaw dropped and he looked at me and goes, what? He goes, what, mate? He goes, come back in 15 minutes. We'll chat more. I'm like, no, I better split. But so
Well, I'm surprised.
another day in rock and roll.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I'm surprised, like, the rest of the Dead Boys and Rose Tattoo didn't sort of, like, have your back, meaning that, like, I'm sure if he was an asshole to you, he must have been a douchebag to the other band members too. And they're like, you know what, this guy's, I'm surprised he was in these bands that long.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but I have heard some things where they had some issues and stuff, but,
Okay.
and I told the person, I forgot who it was like, yeah, I got into a fight. And they're like, you got into a fight? Like because I don't fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's funny because I box, but I've been doing it for physique purposes for the last couple of years, boxing.
Mhm.
But dude, all that training came in real handy because Chris Contos was like, dude, you were like the Matrix. You dodged every punch. And shit. Like, yikes.
I love it. Well, as I mentioned, a lot of your songs have heavy subject matters. So I want to talk about a couple of songs that really were more inspired by TV shows. And there's two songs I want to talk about in particular. I mean, first of all, I went through all your albums, all your singles, everything, and there's not one weak track I've heard. Everything.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I loved it. But I want to talk about one. Where did the song Mississippi Moonhound come from?
That title came from watching an old episode of Sanford and Son.
I love that show, yeah.
My son can't stand it. I've been watching that shit since he was little because I don't watch TV. If I watch TV, I'm watching Sanford and Son or the Osbournes. You know what I mean?
Yep. I love the old 70s TV shows, so that's why I laughed when I heard that, because I'm a huge Sanford and Son fan, and all those All in the Family, Jeffersons, anything like that.
Yeah.
Norman Lear shows. So it was just, you got the title from there, and then you made up the song around that title.
Pretty much, yeah. Mississippi Moonhound is me, pretty much.
Yep.
So,
and the other one I wanted to talk about, which is another great song, is Horns and Halo. What was that inspired by?
So me and Paul Crosby wrote that, our manager, and he was, of course, in Saliva for years. And Horns and Halos is another one about my ex, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's so, that song's really hard for me to listen to sometimes too, because it was dark. It was dark during that period. You know what I mean? Real dark. But again, like, you have a choice in life. You can pick good or evil. Or you can pick the light or the darkness. And I pick the light. Nowadays. No more darkness, please, Lord.
Yeah, please. can only
Right.
take so much. But the horn in Halos was inspired by the Flintstones as well.
Oh, okay.
That's what I heard. That's what I saw you in an interview. You were talking about that.
I don't know. Flintstones?
Yeah, because you said I'm positive I saw it in the show. You had like because Fred had the angel on one side and the devil on
Oh,
the other.
right. Well, no, yeah, I use that as a like a example. Like you know how when I was a kid, I watched the Flintstones. Like he'd have the devil on one
Okay.
shoulder and the angel on the other, and they're like, "Come on, Fred," that
Okay.
kind of deal. So you have your choice of what you want to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like again, stay in the light or stay in the darkness. So
Okay, no, I thought I heard that correctly then, because I heard you mention
yeah,
the Flintstones. That's why I was like, because that was
yeah,
another show I grew up watching. I love that cartoon.
yeah.
And before The Simpsons, it was the longest running sitcom until Simpsons.
Cartoon, yeah,
Yeah, but you mentioned Saliva. So
yeah.
who's the manager of your band?
Paul Crosby, the original drummer for Saliva. Yeah.
Yeah, and the song "Hey Mr. Superstar" was written about Josie.
And it's in part about Josie. Josie's son Cody died from COVID, and I knew Cody when he was a little boy, and I would take him for ice cream and all kinds of stuff. And Josie walked away from music for 10 years to save his life. Because he was not okay. And so when Cody died, Josie did his first hometown gig in Memphis for like 10 years, and I went to that gig because it was a triumphant return. And I remember he was on stage and he said, I got knocked off the horse and I had to stand up and dust myself off and get back up on the horse. And I was like, man, this guy just lost his son. And he says that. So I
Wow.
love Josie. I was there since day one. He's such an inspiration and one of the best rock and roll singers, in my opinion, for sure, man. So,
I never had a chance to meet him, but I did interview Bobby Amaru not that long ago.
oh, yeah. See, that's a whole mess right there.
Okay.
I'm on Team Josie, man. I mean, how are you going to have Saliva with not one original member, and doing all those Josie songs? Like, just makes no sense. But
Oh no, I'm with you on that one too. I see these bands and they're charging like 150, $200. I said, there's not one original member in the band. This is a tribute band. It's a cover
yeah,
band. So
right.
I am 1,000% with you on that one.
Yeah,
But no, I love like it's like one of these sayings is like what does not kill you makes you stronger. I mean, there's so many things. You get back up on the horse. It's like, I mean, you've been through so many different things. And I'm talk about like what helped you get over or at least manage all the tragedies you've been through in a minute. But I want to talk about one last thing about the music because after Todd died, who is Chris Johnson? And
so after Todd died, me and Todd had such a special writing relationship, man, where I didn't have to school him on anything. He schooled me, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have to say, check out Turbo Negro or do you know this Crumb Suckers record or whatever. Like he already had all that, and so it's like trying to find a wife, a songwriting partner, and I tried with several different people, and then I just went back to our producer who's been there since day one, and I was like, look, you helped me discover my voice. You helped me discover our sound. Why don't we write the records? So with the songs, and that's what me and Chris Johnson have been doing ever since Todd passed away. So
yeah, no, well, like I said, so do you and he get together, write all the songs for Blacklist Union, and then present it to the rest of the band? Is that how that works?
I mean, pretty much we'll write it, demo it. But me and Paul Crosby wrote a few songs. We write together too. I love Paul, and he's such a great drummer because I swear to God, he's one of the only drummers that like he's a songwriting drummer. Like he
Wow.
sets up the parts. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to even explain, but he's got this niche with songwriting, and for a drummer, that's a big deal, man. Like he sets up the parts. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
And Paul's such a good guy. I love him. He's my brother. I trust him. It's nice to live in LA and have at least a few people you trust and stuff. So,
So does the band actually rehearse together? And the reason I'm asking is because I've interviewed bands where they all live in different parts of the country, and basically they send their part on a demo, record on a demo, and then send it in. And they put it all together. And to me, I think I was talking to different bands, and I said, I think you're missing out a lot because I love, like I
yeah,
was in bands years ago, and I loved when everybody got together in one room and just collaborated, came up with all these different ideas. Oh, you know what? Let
yeah,
me
I love
try
that.
this. And I think you lose that energy and lose that creativity when you're all. I mean, I know like now with Zoom and different things like this, where you're able to record albums without even being in the same room together. So
Yeah.
how does Blacklist Union do it?
usually demo songs, and if someone has songs, and they're keepers, we record them, and then just go with it. So
So do you all live in the same area though, where you can?
no, me and my rhythm guitar player live close to each other, and everybody's kind of scattered. But so
Yeah.
if we have a tour or we have gigs, everyone will come to town a few days before. We'll do some rehearsals and do the show.
Now is Blacklist Union a full time job for you?
Oh yeah, man. Being Tony West is a full-time job.
Yeah, I can imagine. You put in a lot of overtime
Yeah, man.
with the Tony West job, and we lost him. All right, let's find out what's going on.
From the frenetic mind of author Rich Sear. 5 terrifying short stories, now available in one collection. Confessions of a Frenetic Mind. 5 tales of blood-curdling terror, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
All of a sudden I hear, brim, brim. What's a diaphragm again?
Ha! We caught one.
They're supposed to be weird.
Oh, yeah, no. If you say so.
I've always wanted to be in a movie.
And we're back. So when we last left off before we had some technical difficulties, I was talking about all the tragedies you've been through and everything, how music was always there for you. But another thing that was there for you was ayahuasca and the Amazon. So let's talk about how that all started.
So, a friend of mine, Jonathan Shaw, he's this legendary tattoo artist guy. I remember when I was a little kid, I would walk by his shop, Fun City Tattoo on St. Mark's Place, and I would be scared. Like the energy coming out of that place was scary. But so I've been friends with Jonathan Shaw a long time. He's an author, blah, 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 and a great tattoo artist. But he had told me about ayahuasca, and I did it one time in this trendy LA church type thing. And ayahuasca is not meant to be a trendy LA anything. Like this is like spiritual, real deal shit. Is it okay to cuss on
Oh
here?
yeah, go right ahead. Say whatever
Okay,
you
and
want.
then so anyway, like I was saying, after Todd died, I had done research and found out who the grand poobahs were of, so to speak, of like, the real McCoys, man.
Mhm.
So I found the Shipibo Indians. It's like ship with an IBO at the end. Shipibo Indians in Peru, in the Amazon jungle, and they're the real McCoy. So we went there, me and my ex-wife, the first time for like 2 weeks, man, and so you have to have an intention every time you have a ceremony and you take this, drink this, or whatever. And my first intention was to see all of my people that were behind the veil. And I saw every single one, man. I saw my grandmother. I saw Todd. I saw Bianca. I saw Tracy. I saw all of them. And it takes you to this place, these realms that you already know about these realms. I already knew about these realms. I just forgot because of the way society is made. I mean, it's a punk rock rabbit hole, but like, you know, this is all set up to keep people away from their personal power.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And their soul and their spirit, their pineal gland, which, fluoride. I don't even want to get into all that shit. Um, but it woke me up, man, and it took me to these places that I already knew. And man, I got so much healing, dude. I mean, I can't even tell you, there's no words to convey. And it's so deep. You're so deep, deep in spiritual realms. The majority of the stuff you don't consciously take back with you. It's so deep, man. And then but I remember a couple times with the angels and stuff, or I call it Mother Ayahuasca. The God energy I feel, the divine energy I feel is female.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Um, but I forgot where the fuck I was going with that. Um,
Well, you said that. All right, so you had all these experiences. Some of them you can remember, some of them you can't.
oh,
But
right. So
you
I
said
remember saying sometimes to the angels or the spirits, can I take this back with me?
uh
Because you know what I mean? I was like, can I take this back with me? But dude, I was so fucked up over death, but I'm not afraid to fucking die now. This isn't the end. It's all one thing. It's crazy. It's a whole rabbit hole. And I have to live my human life this time and not go too far down because it'll spin you out,
mhm.
but and there's no way to convey these things. So what I convey them into the last two records are songs. So, the songs, Dirty Halo, for instance, you know, Wayne Sweeney died after a few days before we did the video. So Dirty Halo was already written when Wayne Sweeney died, but Wayne Sweeney came to me too. He was in Saliva.
Yep.
Um, but everybody comes and the spirit or the Indians told me, they said, Tony, not everyone has spirits coming to them like you. And I'm like, well, I do. But my grandmother, when I was a little boy, like she would be like, Anthony, I have spirits. They stand at the foot of my bed and tell me things. I was like, that's nice, Grandma. Can I have some more cake?
Yeah.
But looking in retrospect, why I said it the way I did and had that attitude was because I understood. It wasn't foreign to me, like some weird shit,
Mhm.
woo woo stuff. Like I guess people would definitely call me woo woo.
Yeah.
But my grandmother was very clairvoyant. So my sister is too. We have that in our family, man. So, and I've always had a relationship with divine presence. You know what I mean? Even in my darkest hours, man, in ayahuasca, dude, I walked with Jesus. I'm telling you, dude, twice. And I was walking through a tunnel one time in absolute darkness, and Jesus grabbed my hand and walked me through this tunnel into the light. And Jesus is like what believe and saw. He's like Pimp Daddy, but there's also Ganesh, and there's also Vishnu, and there's also Buddha, and there's also other deities and gods and different things, different energies for different things. It's a divine love. There's no way to describe it, but you know it. We all know it, you know. But honestly, dude, the only way I know how to convey what it's done for me is through music.
Hmm. Yeah.
So Dirty Halo, for instance, I was saying, that there are Todd's in that song. It goes, the youth's gone cold with the fatal blow. The second coming's a no-go. I don't mind your Dirty Halo. Because me and Todd were supposed to write another record, you
Hmm.
know. The youth's gone cold with the fatal blow. The second coming's a no-go. The third verse, saw the Cyclops. I. You're dead. He still don't listen back into the flow. So my crew guy, Damon Dodd, who God rest his fucking soul, he was such a loyal friend, and I fucking wish I knew what I knew now when he was alive. But he came to me, and he had lost his eye in cancer before he died. So I said, saw the Cyclops. I said, you're dead, because I was like, dude, you're dead. And he was like, I am? I'm like, fuck yeah, you're dead, dude. I was like, I had to tell him he's dead. I said, you're dead. He still don't listen back in the flow. Like, he's like, ah. And then, he's in the flow, man. He's in the fucking flow of life. So check it out, right? Paul Crosby's ex-wife, mother of two of his children, Lindy, who I got on Springer in the 90s after I got banned from talk shows and all this shit, but that's a whole nother thing. But
Wait,
Paul,
I know that that's probably a whole other interview,
uh,
but can you give me a little background on that?
of what? The
Of
talk show
why
thing?
you were banned from talk shows?
Oh God. It happened in 95. I went on Geraldo. I was a kid. I went and Robin Crosby was on that show with me from Rat.
Yep.
And I said to Robin, because he was fucked up, Robin.
Mhm.
His hands were so swollen he couldn't play or hold the guitar. And then his feet were so swollen that he had to wear like flip-flops and stuff because his feet were so swollen. And I loved that guy. And I'm not
Yeah.
talking bad about him at all. And I had empathy for him. And I was like, Robin, I grew up listening to your music. Like, dude, you go to rehab, get your shit together.
Mhm.
And he goes to me, I already had my day, Tony. You go. And I was like, okay. So I went, it's this whole long story, went to rehab, Geraldo paid for it, this and that. But then I was like, huh, going on a talk show really changed my life. I think I'll go on every single one and see what happens. And that's exactly what I did.
Oh wow.
So anyway, Lindy, Paul's ex-wife, mother of his two children, I get her on Springer after I get banned. And anyway, she's my friend for years. Her and Paul weren't together, and but she was a handful. And what you call it? A couple weeks before she died, and a couple weeks before she died, she called me and said, or texting me, Tony, please, I need to get out of Memphis. Can you please fly me to LA? And I was like, okay. But then I contacted Paul and their son. And I said, hey, Lindy wants to come here, but I don't want her to be hitting on me or getting fucked up and stuff. Like it's not like that. And they were like, well, that's probably going to happen. And so I decided not to do it.
Mhm.
Dude, she killed herself 2 weeks later.
Wow.
Okay. On fucking Thanksgiving. And Zach, God rest her soul, Zach, their son, found her. Anyway, I was like, this is my fault. I should have fucking flew her out. And
Mhm.
they were like, dude, she would have done that maybe at your house or whatever, and I was just like, good Lord. But when I went to ayahuasca, bro, was it last year or the year before? And so I'm in the fucking medicine, dude, right? In the spiritual realm, right? And I'm there, and Wayne Sweeney's there. And there's this glass fucking partition where there was like a sea of souls, dude, lost souls. And Wayne was standing there like Wayne did. He cared, but he didn't know what the fuck to do. So he was standing there helplessly. And I said, Lindy Sue Covington, it's Tony West. Get here right now. And she came out of the thing and was like, Tony, I'm like, I know, Lindy. I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, I know, I know. And I led her to a divine altar and I spoke for her. She was too ashamed to speak for herself. Um, and I spoke for her
Why was
and
she ashamed?
because she killed herself, she hung herself.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Left her kids, her kid found her, all this shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, I spoke for her and she was granted entry into this divine place.
Wow.
It was like a stadium. It was an entrance, an all lights stadium. And Wayne Sweeney was outside of the stadium with chicks at this like round table thing, drinking and not wanting to give up being rock star Wayne Sweeney quite yet
Mhm.
and go into this place. So I led Lindy to that place, and and then the next day, the next ceremony, I saw Lindy again, and we were in a garden, do-si-doing, dude, with joy and children and all these colors and like lakes and trees and love and joy.
Yeah.
And she was there, and I talk about that in Mississippi Moonhound. I talk about on the bridge, gas station redhead doing the do-si-do, and I had this title, gas station redhead, and Lindy was a redhead, so I just put it in that lyric in the bridge of Mississippi Moonhound. I talk about that, and then in Slay the Dragon, the title track, I talk about all that. Cody came to me, Josie's son,
Mhm.
said to tell my pops I'm okay. And I never met Josie's parents, right? But Cody was in between these two souls, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt that that was Josie's parents.
Yeah.
So anyway, things like that, it's like that shit is real, dude. And it's as real as I'm talking to you right now. But people poo-poo it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, woo-woo and all that shit. But hey, look, Ozzy just died. I mean, that doesn't stop our grief. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he still exists, man. That motherfucker was a soul and a half, dude. I mean, come on. The way he fucking talked, it was funny. You know, he was so fucking rock and roll to the motherfucking bone, dude. His blood and everything, dude. And I
Yeah.
love down to his little motherfucking toe, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had the honor to meet him a few times, you know, and but not have a conversation with him. I wish I could have, you know, because God, I just love him. He did, dude. Check it out. Fucking Ozzy. The last time I did ayahuasca, he came to me because people that are alive, they're higher beings come to you. I've had this experience with Steven Tyler and ayahuasca, and then Ozzy said to me, dude, swear to God, um, can you hurry up? I'm getting tired. I swear to you. And I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah. His time was almost up on Earth.
I'm telling you, that happened. Bon Scott came to me, dude. Like
Really?
Andrew Wood has come to me many times, and that's my biggest influence. Andy Wood, he's the holy grail of fucking rock and roll, dude.
Mother
The
Love
mu-
Bone.
yeah, I mean, I sang in Malfunction. Did you know that? Which was Andy's band.
Yeah. Well, he also, is that the time when you sang with his brother in front of his mother?
Well, that's Malfunction. Yeah. So Andy,
Okay.
before Mother Love Bone, had a band called Malfunction, which is accredited for starting the whole Seattle thing, blah blah blah. Them and
Yeah.
Soundgarden, but yeah, and because I was friends with Mike Starr, and when he died, I did a fucking show in LA, a set of Alice songs, a set of Love Bone songs, and then the Love Bone song set got in the hands of Kevin Wood, Andy's brother. And whatchamacallit, then they asked me to join the band, long story short, and I got to sing in my hero's band, man, you know, and that
Wow.
was beautiful. And but I have a very, very deep spiritual connection to Andy Wood. And I remember telling his mother, I took her to lunch, I fucking paid for it, of course, too. And I told his mother, I could never explain to you what your son has done for me. He saved my life. He gave me a reason to live, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember when we did that gig in Seattle, I prayed on my fucking knees before I went on stage and I said, please, God, because as a true artist, it's not about your dick and your ego and all this shit. You're a channel, dude, right? And I prayed on my knees. I said, God, please don't let me make this about myself. Please help me to do this for Andy, his mother, his brother, his fans, and his friends, and you know, family and all that. And dude, it was my swan song moment because I was in Seattle. All the camps were there, you know, Soundgarden camps, Nirvana camps, Alice camps, all of them. Andy's mom, you know, and I got to sing the songs that gave me a reason to live as a fucking kid, you
Yeah.
know. And it was beautiful. And dude, I remember looking in the crowd and seeing Andy's mother's face. It was luminous in the crowd. Okay, luminous. And I locked eyes with her, and she had a face of astonishment. I swear to you, because it's about channeling, and I had to look away really quick because I got choked up. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
couldn't lose my shit. But yeah, it was beautiful, dude. So you know, he's come to me in ayahuasca, and I used to say this prayer for years. I pray to the spirit of Andrew Wood. Please help me to help you have the world hear your music again. Please use me as a channel to sing through. Teach me how to sing. And I could sing those Love Bone songs inside and out, you know.
Yeah, no, you've had many amazing experiences. Now, getting back to the ayahuasca, it seems like you've had a lot of good experiences. Did you ever have any bad experiences where instead of like walking with Jesus, have you ever seen hell or what other things?
So I
Yeah.
think the people that have a rough time with it are not good people. That's what I've come to find. Like my ex-wife, dude, she was still under when I came out of it, and she was making beast-like noises. That's all I could say. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
I have that lyric in a new song too. X marks the spot. It's called. But what the fuck? What did you ask again?
I asked you. I said, you've
Oh
seen
yeah,
all the good things? Have you ever seen any of the bad, negative, like the
yeah.
hellish
So
areas?
I saw that I was some sort of soldier in a war, man. This was like past life shit, and I was forced to kill, and then yeah, you know. And then I also so you know, one time, dude. I was screaming, dude. Okay, like and these silver balls of energy, boom, 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 boom. They were just coming at me, dude, nonstop for hours, just bam, 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 and it was these spiritual sphere balls, bam, bam, and I was screaming, dude,
Wow.
and I thought that was all the trauma that I've experienced getting out, but then later I thought that can also be the trauma I caused.
Mhm.
So anyway, what it did was get the trauma out. But man, I didn't think I was coming back from that shit. And the Indians, they sing these songs called Icaros, Icaros, Icaros. And some of them are ancient, dude.
Hmm.
But they also make them up on the spot according to your situation and who you are and stuff. And that shit is like they play these songs. I'm like, I know these songs. How do I know these songs? Like, so weird, dude. Life is a trip, dude.
Yeah.
So, but I gotta be light while I'm here. And I've been through heavy shit, but like, man, I gotta process it out because if you don't, it's called dis-ease. If you have dis-ease, you're gonna have disease. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I work like a fucking dog to fucking make sure, I'm not Gandhi, I'm not floating away, but dude, I'm doing it, I'm doing the work, so because life is super short, bro. And it's like don't sweat the small stuff, man. And it's all small stuff. Even big shit comes up, take a breath, get through it.
Yeah, no, I love that attitude. I'm so glad that that had such a profound effect on you. Question for you. So I know that you heard about it, you did your research. How did you actually become introduced to the Indians?
Well, after Jonathan Shaw introduced me to the ayahuasca the first time, like I was saying, we went to this trendy thing, and I knew it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
that. I knew it wasn't that. And then Todd died, and I had some insight on ayahuasca, so I just started Googling who the real
Yeah.
McCoys were.
You just went down
And
there on your own, introduced yourself?
no, I found out first. I started Googling, and then I joined a couple of Facebook groups,
Okay.
ayahuasca groups that and started chatting with some of those people, and then ended up in outside of Pulcopa, Peru. Like we had to fly to Lima first and then to Pulcopa. And man, that shit's like a different world. Like, there's like three people on a motorcycle with a baby, and the chick driving has heels on and shit, like motorcycles everywhere. The hustle is a whole another entire thing, like the people on the street, and there's poverty there just so badly. And whatchamacallit, I remember walking through the village the first time, and this kid looked at me and said, Rambo. Dude, they called me Rambo the whole fucking time the first time. Yeah. I was like, you know that movie? Like, what the hell? Like this kid.
That is
So
funny.
one
Especially,
night they said, they go, okay, Tony, tonight you have a choice. You can have jungle rat, monkey, or chicken. I was like, yeah, chicken.
so when you're taking the ayahuasca, are you left alone in a room? Like, how does this happen? So you're seeing all this stuff, but where are you? Where's your physical body
So you're
when
you're
you're on
going
these
to
trips?
you go into ceremonial room, they call it a maloka, and there's, the head shaman, usually a couple of his people, and then could be a group of people. I've done it with just me and one other person. Um, but yeah. So and then it's man, the first time I went though, man, that shit lasted like 8 to 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, the last time I did ayahuasca, the first trip, the last time I did it, dude, the guy said I was doing yoga for like 10 hours, and I just kept saying, what is it? Thank you, I love you. You are so beautiful. I'm so sorry. Thank you, I love you. You are so beautiful. I'm so sorry. I kept saying that over and over and over, and because my intention that time was before I took the medicine was gratitude. Because look, man, be grateful for everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I got to be grateful for every motherfucking thing, dude. You know? And what happens is if you're truly grateful in your heart, you get more things. But I don't need any more physical things. I want some love, a good woman would be nice. Good luck with that, like, but
Yeah.
so.
No, I think good things are coming your way. You've gone through so much. I think you're gonna, at least on Earth, you're gonna have a good stretch where good things are coming your way. I hope.
They tell me, the gods have told me I'm gonna have a 5-year run that's gonna fucking hit. So I'm like, let's get this shit started. Like I always say, let's rock this shit. Because, dude, Blacklist Union, I'd say our two biggest influences have to be Love Bone and Warrior Soul, is huge. The cult, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
but
what?
it's all about the music, dude. And when I go see a band, I want to leave saying wow, and that's our goal to bring the wow factor.
Yeah. Well, what I like about you is I mentioned this with other musicians. I said there's a difference between a great musician and a great performer. Some people have both. I've seen you on YouTube and I've seen your videos. You definitely have both. You're a great performer, but you're also a great singer, a great musician. So I think that's important because, like, I mean, if I really want, sometimes I see these bands where they want to sound so perfect. I'm like, if that's the case, I'll just go stay home and either stream it or listen to the CD, whatever.
No,
I want
fuck
to, I
that.
want to go to a concert. I want to have fun. I want to feel
Dude,
that energy.
yeah, thank God for punk rock because you know, man, that fucking schooled me. I'm a punk rock motherfucker to the core, dude.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's
GD
funny because
Ramone.
you mentioned all the same bands that I loved growing up. All the GBH, Murphy's Law,
Yeah,
Black Flag. Trying to think of who's the other one.
dude.
Fair. I love Fair too.
Oh,
Leaving.
me too. What's your D4? What's your D4? The last few years of Dee Dee's life, I got to be friends with him because my my friends played with him in his solo band or whatever.
Hmm.
So we were friends, and I said to Dee Dee, I said, Dee Dee, didn't you play with Gigi Allen? And he's like, and he goes like this, all New York Ramon style. He goes, you know, Tony, when he started throwing the poop, it was a bit too much. And I remember I was like, yeah.
I actually saw him in concert. It was the scariest show I ever went to in my life.
Oh no, was it his rap album?
It was 1988. It was a small club in Connecticut called the Brickenwood. Thank God they took him off before he started flinging anything. But it
Oh
was
shit,
scary.
that's
A
awesome.
bunch of my friends' bands opened up for him, and it's just that he was on stage and it was crazy. I mean, it lasted 20 minutes. There was this guy. His name was Tynes. This huge black guy. He had a crowbar, and he's like, "Come and get me, Tyne." Like, get him, Timey. Come and get me. And he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." Oh, and then some woman tried to pull out a gun, shoot him, and some guy stabbed. It was crazy. All this happened within 20 minutes. Then people were running for the door. I'm not exaggerating any of it. They locked the door from the outside. We couldn't get out.
Oh shit, fuck that.
And then we get out there, and the cops are there, and they're like, so I was waiting to see what was going to happen. And they're like, cops like, just leave, get out of here. So I don't know what happened after that, but
That's awesome. Do you remember a club called the Anthrax?
oh my God, I love that place. Yeah,
Oh,
in
nice.
Norwalk, Connecticut. First it was in Stamford. I never went to that one, but the one in Norwalk, I was there all the
The
time.
one by the lake. There was a lake or something.
I think that was the Norwalk one. It was great, and unfortunately, they shut it down because the neighbors were complaining about the music. But I saw Ludacris there. I
Nice.
saw
I
the
think I did too.
Descendants there.
Exploited. I saw the Exploited there.
Yep, I saw them.
UK Subs.
You probably saw a lot of the same shows. That's where I think I met Todd Youth because
Yeah,
when
he played there a bunch. Yeah.
yeah, because I saw him in Murphy's Law all the time. That was one of my favorite.
Dude, Todd's
live bands.
retarded. Todd was retarded. I used to call him Retod. Okay? But dude, just imagine he was 16, you know, touring on fucking License to Ill, bro.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I mean? Murphy's Law was doing that. And
Yep.
Todd was a rock and roll soldier. We have a song called Rock and Roll Soldier on the new record that I'm pretty proud of. Me and Paul Crosby wrote. This new record, I'm really proud of it. I love all our records. The first three, they're very dark to me because I was dark, man. I was trapped in darkness. And then when me and Todd did we wrote what was it? Digging for Gold off Till Death Do Us Part, me and Todd. That's how we started writing together.
Yeah.
And then we wrote the whole Back to Momo record. You know, Evil Eye, do you know that song?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah, so Todd was auditioning for Guns N' Roses, and then DJ Ashba got the gig or whatever. But Todd's like, "Oh, I wrote this song for Axl, but he didn't want it. Do you want to hear it?" I'm like, yeah. What the hell? So that became Evil Eye.
Wow. I didn't know that story, but I did. I love that song, Evil Eye.
Oh, me too. Yeah, it's about my mom. So you know, the first three records are really dark, and then when me and Todd got together, I was like, "Bro, let's get back to the fucking rock and the street and the punk rock and you know, good time shit. Like fuck all this darkness." And that's what we did. And then he died, and you know, it's weird how each record is such significant chapters of my life.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I mean,
know
like,
After the Morning was but Bianca Halstead?
yeah.
Yeah. That's another good. So but like I said, I mean, I think like you said, different chapters for your life, but music was so powerful to you, and that helped you get
Saved my
through.
life.
Yeah,
My whole,
saved your
my
life.
whole life. Yeah.
And I think you know what, and I love like I heard you mention this, and it's so true. It's like you're like that Motley Crue song, "Home Sweet Home." It's like my life is an open book for the whole world to read. But I think that helps so many people because so many people are probably in their basement, depressed, they want to kill themselves, and they hear you talk to like, you know what? I'm not the only one going through all this shit. This guy say so. I bet you have no idea probably the profound impact you have on so many people.
I really appreciate that. And sometimes I have gotten emails and people have told me and beautiful things, dude, where, you know, I'm just like, oh my God, thank you. Where, your song helped me through the death of my loved one, or we played this song at, my loved one's funeral, or I've heard so many of those things, weddings, like over the years, man. That's so beautiful and cool. And if I'm doing that, I'm doing my fucking job, dude. That's the motherfucking shit that matters, you know?
Yeah, no, you're doing your job and you're doing it extremely well.
Thank you, sir.
I love it. So I want to get back to the Anthrax. I know you said you've been there, you've seen so many bands there. Did you ever play there?
No, I never played there.
Okay, I was wondering. So the reason I was asking, I was wondering if I ever saw you and never even realized it.
Yeah. My first band was in '96 and it was a Ramones tribute band.
Okay.
And we played an FM station up here when it was open. It was '96. And dude, not too many people can say this, but Lemmy did come to the first gig I ever did. I mean, granted, it was a Ramones tribute band and they were still alive. He probably called them and told them there's a Ramones tribute band. But Lemmy came, he liked it. He's like, not bad, mate. I got a bunch of Lemmy stuff. Todd filled in for fucking Phil Campbell, and Phil Campbell's mom died and shit. And then Todd said he had a bunch of haters, in New York and this and that. So he's like, oh yeah, just meet me at the gig, the Motorhead gig, right? And he doesn't tell anyone he's playing in the fucking band. So, everyone's like, oh, where's Todd? He flaked, blah, blah, blah. And then he comes out, playing guitar. I love that story. That was a great one.
So I think I've seen videos of him on YouTube playing with Lemmy. I didn't realize the story with that, but that's funny. Filthy Phil.
He also told me, he's like, dude, I looked at Lemmy's settings and shit. I'm like, yeah. He's like, everything's just cranked up. And
Lemmy is like the epitome of rock and roll. Just
fuck, I love Lemmy too. I got many, many Lemmy stories, but I pissed him off like all the time for without even trying. Like I was like, sorry, because there used to be this Miss Pac-Man game in the inside bar, and for some reason, I'm just fucking. I could play that game and get the high score, all this shit, And I would play Lemmy, and he'd be like, I'd beat him, and he'd be like, bloody wanker. Like he would get pissed. But dude, that motherfucker. He was a true fucking pirate, dude. Rock and roll motherfucking pirate. He's probably sailing the fucking seas, man, somewhere.
Yeah. Did you ever hear of Troma Studios, Lloyd Kaufman? Toxic Avengers, the big one. But anyway, the reason I brought that up was Lemmy was in a bunch of his movies. And I guess like Lloyd, I met Lloyd Kaufman, but I've seen interviews with him where he said like he used to piss Lemmy off all the time for no reason at all. Like,
dude, yeah. I remember one night we're at the Rainbow and Lemmy's all fucking in a white pimp ass fucking skinny looking suit and shit, white shoes. I'm like, dude, you look pretty fucking nice. He's like, oh, going on a date, mate. Oh no, dude, I got this great story. I said, Lemmy, fucking first time I saw Motorhead, I dove off stage, got punched in the face, and lost my shoe. Right? True story. I tell Lemmy this. He goes, serves you right, mate, jumping on the people's heads. What are you doing that for anyway? And I remember I was so stunned because he was so witty, dude. He could fucking lay you under in a minute. Like 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I should have said this,
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. I've met Scott Ian from Anthrax, and I guess he has a bunch of stories with Lemmy too, saying because Lemmy could outdrink pretty much everybody, and like Scott Ian was trying to keep up with him. He passed out, shit himself, and Lemmy. It was funny.
He's missed too because he was a staple here. He was so important to the music community here and around the world, but especially in LA. So
yeah, no, I love Motorhead. And
yeah,
I think I only got a chance to see them once, and then I saw when well, obviously it's not Motorhead, but the guitar player left and formed Fast Eddie Clarke.
Oh right. He don't like to talk about Fastway. Oh no, the singer from Fastway doesn't like to, he's in. The fuck is the band he's in? I always forget. Yeah. They're huge. The singer from Fastway. What the fuck is his band called?
I can't remember. You know what? Let me look it up while we're talking. Let's see if I can find it. Because I didn't
be surprised. The singer from Fastway. And if you mention Fastway to him now, he won't talk about it. And I don't know. I never met him, so I shouldn't say that. But.
I love that. I'm like easy living. It's like I was a fan of them, but let's see, singer of Fastway. What was his name? It is Dave King. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yep,
So look
Fast.
him up. What he's doing now? What's the singer?
Well, I see. Formerly Motorhead, later Dave King went on to form the Celtic punk band Flogging Molly. Does that sound right?
Yeah, Flogging Molly. Yeah. So
Okay.
he's in Flogging Molly, which is a legit punk rock band.
Wow.
So totally. And I was like, wait, what? No, that has to be a mistake. And apparently it's not. But everybody, dude, what about that record Discharge put out, that fucking woo woo record that was like,
Oh yeah.
Todd used to talk about that tour because I saw that and Todd said, yeah. He goes, I was with HR at the balcony at the Ritz, and HR threw a fucking trash can on the stage from the balcony,
What's funny? I saw HR for the first. Believe it or not, I've seen Bad Brains, but HR was already out of the band. I think it
Oh,
might have
no.
been Israel Joseph. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
remember because
He did a great job though,
he
Israel.
did. I love that Rise album. That's what we were talking about. That. And that's yeah, I loved him. And but I saw HR very recently at this place called Cafe 9 in New Haven, small club, and HR is just sitting down. Like a couple times, I thought he was falling asleep, but he still sounded great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I loved Bad Brains, the
Oh,
original.
I'm a huge Bad Brains fan. When I was a kid and saw them, I was like, they're black. Like, not
Yeah.
that made a difference to me because
No.
I don't judge people on the color of their fucking skin, but I was just blown away. They were black,
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I've met and I had John Joseph on the show, and he said like he had no idea, and they opened up so many doors because they were black. They a lot of times, unfortunately, at that time, trying to get paid, and all the clubs wouldn't let them in. It's just they went through so much hell.
That was
in the early
Todd's
days.
favorite band. I mean, for sure. Todd was a Bad Brains fucking
Oh,
fan
yeah.
and a half. I have this great story about HR where he went to a party at my house and dude, I start talking. I'm like, yo, I was at this show, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts doing this and then whispering in my ear and stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? And then so then he's sleeping on the couch and everyone leaves. And I told my crew guy, Satanic Alan, I'm like, yo, we gotta kick HR out of the fucking house. Like, that's like sacrilegious. But we had to ask him to leave. And then Todd was like, you're lucky you told him to leave because he would have stayed for 2 months. I was like, oh no, what? Yeah.
Was that before he was diagnosed with schizophrenia?
I don't know anything about that.
I saw a documentary on him, and it's such it's sad story. I'm so glad that whoever he's with now, I think it's I hope he's still with her, but she got him the right medication, and everything, because like there were so many different stories they were going through. They were wondering why.
Dude, that
Yeah,
motherfucker, dude, talk about a channel, dude. That motherfucker channels some energy, dude. I remember as a kid him fucking springing off the stage and swan diving and shit.
Oh yeah,
All that fucking
you
stuff.
do those flips on stage. It's
That shit
amazing.
changed my life, dude. All that stuff changed my life. I mean, not changed, shaped. It shaped my life, is what it did. I mean, seeing the Bad Brains and the Ramones in New York City when I was growing up, that was my church.
Yep.
It really was, and fuck, I miss that shit. I love that shit. And I got to carry on that shit. That's my job,
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope we get some fucking good tours here coming up.
The torch has been passed to you. No pressure.
Oh, I got it. Fucking just give us a chance. Like I say in a lot of interviews, like, Steven and Joe from Aerosmith and Six and Axel and Slash and Duff and even Dave Grohl and like Mike Ness, like please give us a fucking chance. Like people gave you guys a chance too. Like just let us rock your fucking world, dude, and your audience. And we fucking love those bands that I just mentioned. They shaped my life, and we'd be honored to do that stuff. And we're fucking playing for real here. We bring the fire. It's about bringing the fire, dude. And live is where it's at, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That was Andy Wood's real thing. And live, it's got to sound better than the records. And that's but I work my fucking ass off to make sure that happens. And keep focused. And man, I have this crazy exercise vocal routine I do every day, 5-6 days a week.
Did you ever take vocal lessons, or is it just natural?
Yeah, so I did take a couple, but then I had a session book with this dude, Ron Anderson, and he even worked with Elvis, dude. Like he worked with Axel and Cornell and like all kinds of people. But I had a session book with him, and he died. So then my friend Patrick Stone, who's he sings in this band called Butterside,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling him the story. He goes, dude, I did lessons with him. I have all the lessons. I'll go over each one with you. And I was like, awesome, and this was just a few years ago. And so I did all these lessons. I still do one a day. I have them on, I listen to my AirPods and stuff. But I'm punk rock to the core, but this taught me a tiny bit of technique. All I need, you know what I mean? Where now my fucking job is fun and killer and it's consistent and it's fucking badass. It's tough as nails. Like I'm proud of this record. It's tough as nails, dude. We bring it, and that's what any band should be doing, man. What the fuck happened to me, music? I love music. It's my life. So
Yeah,
people
no,
need rock and roll too, man. Look, the whole fucking world, look how moved everyone is about Ozzy, dude.
oh yeah.
Fucking Prince of Darkness, dude. You know what I mean? Biting bats and fucking doves and all his craziness. I told my son, I was like, dude, he's the one when I was a kid, like he had the midgets first because we always have midgets at our shows. Last year, Crew Fest, we had 7 midgets, dude. That shit was funny, dude. And then
Well,
this
you know
year
what's
we
funny
had,
about that? You can correct me if I'm wrong. I saw a documentary, and I guess that midget was originally supposed to be Dio, because that's when Dio joined Black. That's what they were saying, and it was sort of like a little dig at Ronnie because Ronnie's really small.
yeah.
I don't know how
So
true
I was
that is.
friends. Are you a Dio fan?
Oh yeah, I love Dio.
So I was good friends with Jimmy Bain.
Oh wow, yeah. Did you actually? It's funny. I interviewed Vinny Appice recently,
Oh,
and
nice.
he was talking about like how Jimmy Bain died on the cruise. I don't know if you know that story.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. But yeah,
Dude, one
I
time
love.
we used to do a lot of drugs together. That was a long time ago. But dude, one time Jimmy Bain, verbatim, he goes to me, fucking Ronnie, all he sings about is purple dragons and castles. I'm getting sick of this shit. I
That's
was a
funny.
kid. I was a kid. I was like, I don't know what to say. And then another time, we were playing with Love Hate. Love Hate, the original guitar player, Johnny Love, he's our sound guy. But 10 years ago, we're playing at the Key Club or whatever, and with Love Hate, and Jimmy Bain was backstage, and he goes, "Tony West, you're the nicest guy, but you've got the worst reputation in town, mate."
That's fun.
Hence Blacklist Union. But I was like, well, isn't that rock and roll? He
Exactly.
just started laughing. But I love that man. Rest in peace, dude. And he's another one. Died with his motherfucking boots on, like Lemmy, like Ozzy.
Oh
So
yeah.
many. Todd.
Yeah, no, I mean you've definitely rubbed elbows with a lot of the greats. And to me it's like listening to Blacklist Union, you definitely are one of the greats. Like I said, you're the next generation carrying the torch to all these younger kids, the younger generation. I love it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
And I know like, you mentioned Steven Tyler, and I know he was a huge influence on you as well because you did the song Mia, and am I correct where you named your daughter Mia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sent a copy of it to Jack Douglas, who Jack Douglas is, of course, right? Like,
Yep.
produced all the Aerosmith stuff.
Yeah.
And he didn't give me any feedback, but I'm sure he sent it to Steven and Joe, hopefully, and then but my daughter, I love her, and there's all this drama going on right now, but she's out of control, 13. Um and Steven Tyler, he grew up in Yonkers in the Bronx, like that's where I'm from, I'm from the Bronx and Yonkers. And I love Steven Tyler. Like I'm a Steven Tyler fanatic, and I haven't met him yet, but I can't wait to, because I know exactly what I'm gonna say. Hey,
What?
Tallarico.
Well, I have a story about that. 'Cause, like as I mentioned, several years ago, I went to the Laurel Canyon in that store, and they were saying,
That's where I was with the whole fucking debacle today.
yeah. But the story that they were saying was like, I guess I don't know if they still do it. Years ago, that everybody used to get and take a picture, and Steven Tyler wanted so badly to be a part of that picture, but it was too late. So they superimposed his head in the picture to make it seem like he was in that photo.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, that was the story that the tour guy was telling us. 'Cause
Nice.
If you look at it next time you're here, you'll see a picture of Steven if it's still there. This was
That's classic.
5-6 years ago. I went there, and they said he wanted so bad to be a part of it, but he couldn't make it at that time, so they just sort of put him in there. But that's funny.
Dude, I remember like 20 years ago, the Just Push Play tour,
Yep.
I love those later records. People always poo-poo them. I love them. The lyrics are great, the melodies are great, the choruses are great. And it's Aerosmith. How are you gonna fucking hate on Aerosmith?
Yeah.
But during that tour, I had no money, and fucking we were living in the studio and lockout, and we went to Kinko's and we made backstage passes, right? So out of the Just Push Play cassettes, like we fucking doctored it up. And then I remember we had walked in and like we tried two security people. They're like, ah. And then the third one we were in, and we had better seats than Cher and Slash, number one,
I
because
love it.
we bamboozled our way in. I can't wait. I hope I get the opportunity to tell Steven this, but so we bamboozle our way in there and fucking dude. Aerosmith starts, right? And they had a long runway, kind of like the Stones and shit.
Mhm.
On my life. Tyler walks down the runway, dude, points at me, dude, and started the fucking show. And I was like,
I
it
love
was
it.
killer. It was killer. He must have thought I was Tommy or something. I get that shit all the fucking time. I was at Tommy Lee's house and the fucking caterers said to me, "Where do you want the barbecue, dude?"
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
funny.
I'm not him, dude. Yeah.
I could see that though. I could see why people would think that you two do similar look.
I dated Athena, his sister, for a second. I like her. She's nice and cute.
Oh. Well, it's funny you're talking about some of the things when you didn't have money. One of the stories I heard about you was what's it called? Roaching?
Oh, no way. You know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
love
have a
that story.
dead roach tattooed on my arm. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. So for years, man, like we had no money, dude, and we all lived together, like band people and stuff. And I'm a great sales guy on the phone. I could sell, what is it, ice to an Eskimo or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, so we always call restaurants and be like, yeah, we were just down there. We found a roach in our food, and they would deliver free food. Yeah. One time, dude, we roached someone. I tell you, no bullshit, dude. It was called Damiano's. They're not around anymore, so I won't get in any trouble. But what's it called? We roached them 30 days in a row, dude. I shit you not. One night they fucking delivered beer for the mistake. My roommate said he came home one time and the phone, I was passed out like this with the phone. And then 20 minutes later, a free pizza came out knocking at the door.
That's what, so they never caught on any of these places?
Well, they did because the very last time after 30 days, we roached this place where I was like our old roommate Jones, rest his soul, God rest his soul. But he went downstairs because we make him always get the food, like you got to go down there, or whatever. So he comes back all flustered, his face all red, veins sticking out of his head and shit. We're like, what happened? And he said when he went downstairs, the pizza guy opened the box and he goes, "Is this the pizza or whatever?" And Jones looked in the box and it was sawdust and he threw it in his face and then they got in a fist fight. Yeah, that's when Hollywood was fun, dude. We used to bring the whole fucking club to our apartment after the fucking. It was so much fun back then.
I love it. So when did you move to LA?
A long time ago.
So when you're young, you're like, all right, this is where the best place to go for music, and you decide to get up and go.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing. Well, Appetite. When I was in high school, Appetite was the catalyst for me. I was like, that's what I'm fucking doing. There's no fucking way in hell I'm not doing anything else. And then when I discovered Love Bone and Alice and Soundgarden, but
Yeah.
I quickly became friends with Mike Starr. And I didn't know, I was retarded because I didn't know even how big Alice was. Like it didn't matter to me anyway. He was my friend, but Mike was funny. We were wingmen, and we'd go pick up chicks together and shit. And we're like, bro, whatever you do, please don't lead in with the Alice in Chains thing because we always get these bimbalinas that want to latch onto us and stuff. He's like, okay, West, I won't. And then first thing, every fucking time, oh, Mike from Alice in Chains. I'm like, Mike, what the hell? I loved him too. He was another one. So beautiful, man. Like, but tortured, like Alice, him not being in Alice in Chains killed him. And then after Lane died, he was done.
Yeah. Well, you made a comment, and I love this comment. It said, you said, if you do not confront your pain, it will kill you. I mean, there's so many people, like you mentioned, Chris Cornell, Scott Weiland, and so many others, Andrew Wood, Mike Starr. And so you look at the pain, you confront it, you don't shy away from it, you take it head on. And I think that's, like you said, what does not kill you only makes you stronger.
Well, I do my absolute best to do that, but what really helps me do that is the ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And well, another thing I want to talk about DMT. What's that?
So there's many forms of DMT. People try to pass off these vapes as DMT, and you got to be careful smoking anything from a stranger or weirdness anyway now because everything has fentanyl in it. But the DMT you want to do is it's called Bufo, Bufo. It's from the Bufo toad, the Bufo frog, and that's the shit, the real deal shit that it you go to that divine place deep, deep in. And there's a whole tuning with your body, dude. It's fucking insane. Like it's like an instrument. Your body is an instrument and you are fucking tuned. You are tuned. And it's very heavy, very divine, very quick. It's not like ayahuasca where I was saying like could be 8 to 12 hours, anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, the DMT in an hour you're in and out, but it's very profound and it's just something you want to be careful with and go to the right people. Like there are medicine people, shamans, that in the States that facilitate those sorts of treatments, which are really life changing. So
I remember several years ago there was a documentary on DMT, and I watched most of it. But yeah, they're talking all about that. I want to talk about the power of plant medicine, how you came to discover that.
well, again, it was the Jonathan Shaw thing,
Yeah.
when he introduced me to the ayahuasca and whatchamacallit, in LA. And then we went to that church in Santa Monica, and like I knew that wasn't a good place. And then Todd died, and I went down the rabbit hole and found the real McCoys of the plant medicines.
Hmm. Yeah. All right, we talked about a lot of different bands, some of the rock stars you rub elbows with. There's a band that I love, and I think you're friends with them, Steel Panther.
Oh yeah,
Those guys
I
are,
love them.
yeah, those guys are great. Like I guess I can't think of the singer's name right now. My mind went blank, but
Well, Michael Starr, he goes
yeah,
by.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I guess he was originally in a Van Halen tribute band.
dude, yeah, and he's a badass. And you used to be able to squint your eyes and you like because I never got to see the original Van Halen, and
Yeah.
you would squint your eyes when he was doing that and think you were in a Van Halen show. And dude, he can mimic any singer. It's insane how talented and funny. He's one of the most funniest guys I know, dude. He's funny without even trying to be funny, like Ozzy was,
Yep.
like Ralph, he has that. And I love him. He's a good guy, and he's got great tattoo work too. Kat Von D did his tattoos. But we've done many shows opening up for them in LA. We would love to go on the road with them. I think they're great. And I have a funny story about him. They were signed to Universal Republic. You remember that label? And they were a really
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
label. They had Godsmack, all kinds of shit. And he goes, "We're getting dropped." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, you're doing so good. Why would you be getting dropped?" And he's like, "Well, we just played Download." He goes, and I asked, "How many people bought our record?" And he said like a third of the place raised, like woohoo. And then he goes, "How many people downloaded our record for free?" And he said the whole place erupted, dude. And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah,
There's
I
that.
got a chance to see them several times, and there was one time where you pay a little bit extra, and you got a chance to meet the band. They were great. Like you
Yeah,
said,
yeah, yeah.
they're just so funny, and
Yeah,
I
they're funny.
love their songs.
Dude,
Great music,
best
just
title.
hilarious lyrics.
Best title ever. Steel Panther title. Eatin' ain't cheating.
Yes.
I was like, I remember telling him, I was like, "Yo, bro, that's the best title ever." Just what I told you. Yeah.
I forgot about that one. I
That shit
love
is
it.
funny, dude. Like all their stupid little faces they make, like they're so genius, dude. I remember Ralph, he had some polyps going on. He was scared. This was a few years ago. I was like, "Bro, you're gonna be fine, first of all." And I go, "Plus, you're super smart and talented. You've look at what you've done. Like you'll figure something out. You're gonna be okay."
Yeah.
So because he's fucking, I love them.
Oh yeah, no, they're a great band, and I haven't seen them in a while, but whenever
Yeah.
they're in the area, I try to check them out because
Because they're fun. You know
they
what
are.
I'm saying?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And they bring it, dude. So like Russ, he's a fucking satchel, that dude, one time I saw them playing and someone jumped on stage and ripped off his wig. And dude, without missing a beat, Satchel says in the mic, "Hey, some of those people thought that hair was real." I was like, "No way." Like that's a whole talent where they're like, Lemmy had that wit shit, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, another thing I want to switch subjects for a minute because I noticed on your Facebook, are you do you believe in the zodiac? Because I see a lot of stuff that you have about Libra.
Zodiac, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because like very recently, it was like I wasn't sure how much stock I took in that, but I don't know how many people come up to me and say, "You're a Leo." I said, "How do you know?" Just the way you are. And then they'll name off all these different traits. I'm like, "That describes me. That's me. That's me. That's me." And they're like, "You're definitely a Leo." So I definitely think there is something to it. Where
Yeah, for sure. I've always thought so. And I'm a Libra. John Lennon was Libra, Tom Petty, Sting's a Libra,
you're in good
lots of
company.
good songwriters.
Yeah.
So, and I remember I looked up, I did something or whatever, and it said two jobs someone like you would have: singer or lawyer. That's what it said, singer or lawyer. And when I was little, my mom used to try to be a lawyer.
You definitely made the right decision. Well, why is the number 15 bad? Worse than 13?
I've come to find 15 kind of represents death. It could be positive or negative.
Hmm.
It's not that it's bad, but it's a death number to me. When I was 15, my grandfather died. Um, that was very traumatic on me. I remember telling Bianca, don't put 15 songs on your record, you know.
Yeah.
And then she had a song, I Wish You Die, about her ex-band member, and I was like, you shouldn't put that on there.
Hmm.
I loved her so much. She was so beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Bianca is so rock and roll to the bone, dude. Betty Blowtorch.
Hmm. Yeah. No, it's a shame. So at that time, obviously, you were afraid of death until you started doing ayahuasca, then you realized that there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, because we already know it. I mean, everyone gets fear sometimes, you know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying? But the opposite of fear is faith and trust. And it's hard to have that in today's world, like turn on the fucking TV. It's like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
faith and trust is something I have to have, and it's not always easy. That's another thing, where staying in the moment, like we were talking about Up in Smoke, like gotta have faith and trust. The divine has led me here. I'm okay right now. I'm grateful I live in a house in Laurel Canyon, and in LA, and my son's in college and I'm playing music. Like, I'm grateful for all these things. I can walk, I can talk, dude. I can exercise. I fucked up my motorcycle, laid it down before, but like, you know what? I have a motorcycle and I have the means to fix it. So, what am I gonna do? Freak out? So I'll thank God, thank the divine. So, it's very gratitude's super important, man.
I, well, I have similar gratitude because I was born with cerebral palsy. And when I was born, I was given the last rites 3 times. They told my mother I would never walk or talk. Basically, it only affected the right hand and my right leg. They did a couple operations on my leg where they had to cut the tendon because I was walking on my toe and I had to wear a brace. But now I just have a limp, which I could really care less about. My hand, they were going to do an operation, but they were going to make it like this. And I said, thank God my mother, she was only 19 or 20 at the time. Thank God she goes, no, I want to be able to grasp things and things like that. So I even asked her, I said, where did you get that knowledge? To because normally somebody that young is like, well, you're the doctor, you know best. She goes, nope. I'm not taking that for an answer. I'm going to do something. She took me to so many different doctors when I was a kid. So that being said, I am extremely grateful. I've had such a great life, done so many different things.
That's beautiful, dude.
Yeah. And whenever I have that similar attitude, when somebody says, oh my God, this and that, it's like, really? That's the only thing that's bothering you? If that's the worst thing that happens to you, you're having a pretty damn good life. And I've always had that attitude. And that's why I love listening to your stories. Because like I said, they're so inspirational, and you don't give up. That's why I can't stand it. It's like, the only option is not quitting. When people say, "Oh, I'm done, I can't do it," it's like, no, just you can be tired, you can fall down, but you have to get back up. And I love that because you keep falling down, but nothing's stopping you.
I mean, look at Josie, dude. Look how many times he fell down. He's an inspiration too. It's like,
Yeah,
there's beautiful people on this planet, but it's like, dude, and his songs have touched, moved, and inspired. That's the goal, for
yeah,
people to be touched, moved, and inspired by Blacklist Union. Like, for instance, Saliva and Josie. I'm touched, moved, and inspired by them. Turbo Negro, for instance. I love that fucking singer Hank, dude. I cried when he died. One of my favorite bands ever. Todd too. Nick Oliveri too. But yeah.
yep. Ozzy, Lemmy. I mean, there's so many greats out there that are no longer with us.
But
But
we got to fucking carry the shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, man. We're dedicating the record to Ozzy, of course. Like, where I wrote on there some stuff, and it was funny because when I was a little boy, like I would be scared of people that have Black Sabbath shirts because I thought satanic shit. I went to Catholic school and all that shit. So.
That is funny.
But yeah, the
Well,
Ozzy thing, dude. Cornell was really, really hard to that one. Cornell did tell me he liked the way I sang the Andy songs,
mhm.
which is the whole, that's a beautiful compliment.
Yeah, no, that's a great compliment coming from him that he liked it.
After that Seattle gig I told you about Andy's mom and all that,
Yeah.
somebody that was close to Lane and Andy said to me backstage after the show, they said Andy and Lane would have loved you. And
Mm.
I went to answer them, dude, and I cried, and it took me a second to get my composure too, because I was so fucking touched and honored that this person would say that to me, you know what I mean? Because it means so much. It's life to me, dude.
Yeah.
It's not anything less than life. So,
Yep.
and we got this new song I told you me and Paul wrote on the record, called Rock and Roll Soldier. You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah. Well, that's why I love about you is because like you have great talent, but you also have passion behind it. I mean, sometimes you could see put somebody on there and they're just like going through the motions. They're like on
Yeah, fuck
auto
that.
auto control, and it's just like all right. But like you definitely you live it, you feel it, you love it,
Sir.
and you can't. There's nothing about you that you can fake. And
Yeah,
that's what comes across when
thank you.
I'm watching you and finding more out about you. And that definitely just makes me like you and the band even more.
Thank you. Yeah, we bring the rock and there'll be midgets. Yeah.
I can't forget the midgets.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh yeah, come see my band. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. There'll be midgets. Wait, what?
Dude, when are you going to be in this side of the area, like the New York, Rhode Island,
I
Massachusetts area?
certainly hope so. We need to get out there really badly. And we're waiting on some dates right now. I wish we can do some more Dead Boy dates. I think Cheetah's mad at me. I hope not. I
I
love
hope.
Cheetah and I respect the Dead Boys and their tour manager, Anthony, all those guys. But that drummer guy was just douchey, so it had to be done. It was a punk rock beatdown, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I can't imagine why he would be mad for you just defending
no, I
yourself.
don't think we can.
Uh,
We're gonna tour some dates with Texas Hippie Coalition, but that's usually in the South and Midwest. But we really need to get to the East Coast, man. And
I hope so,
I'm
because you.
flying out to London to meet with Corey Clark from Warrior Soul. Are you a Warrior Soul fan?
I don't really know much about them. I'm gonna be checking them out right after this interview, though.
They're so
Warrior Soul.
fucking great, dude. Check out Punk and Belligerent.
All
It's
right,
called, and then another song called Wasteland.
I'm gonna put that in my list right now. So,
So
Warrior.
I'm going to see Warrior Soul with Spread Eagle, and I'm going to talk to Ray West and Corey Clark about, doing a package in Europe. And plus we should do a New York show too. Those guys are fucking. I'd be honored to open for them in New York City. Warrior Soul and Spread Eagle, like, you
My
know,
God, yeah. That. Well, I said if you do that, look in the front row, you'll see me.
nice. But Corey Clark, I think he's such an underrated, amazing artist. Like I have a couple of his paintings hung in my house in frames. And of course, I'm a huge Warrior Soul fan, the lyrical content. I mean, as a kid, for me, Warrior Soul and Mother Love Bone were like the two, and Ian Astbury. Ian Astbury did this record in the 90s called The Holy Barbarians. Do you know that record?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's one
Yeah,
of my favorite records too. But I
yeah.
love Ian Astbury. Not a lot of people talk about him, and he's fucking king of cool, man. And he's been doing Indian garb and ceremonial stuff and talking about ayahuasca this whole time.
Wow.
So, dude, I saw the cult a couple years ago at the Greek, and he said, "I want to thank Mother Ayahuasca." I was like, "No way." Yeah, and he looked great, sounded great. Billy Duffy's great. I'd love to tour with them, man. That would be an honor to tour with the cult.
Well, hopefully, everything will be falling right into place very
It's
soon.
all coming. It's all coming. I listen to this dude. I do a walk through the hills every day. It's an hour walk. It's gnarly, but I listen to this guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
And he talks about manifestation and energy and stuff. And so some of the things that I've learned in ayahuasca by listening to this guy, I'm able to have it in my daily life, operate from there on a daily basis without forgetting or falling to this wayside or whatever. But I highly recommend him, Dr. Joe Dispenza. My ex-wife, she's the one that turned me on to him actually, but
And where's he from? Is he in the California area?
I don't know where he's from, but there's all kinds of YouTube videos and stuff that he
Okay.
has and blogs and stuff, and he's fucking dead on.
All right, I'm gonna be checking that out too. I have a whole list of different things I'm gonna be checking out once this
You know, like
interview
he
ends.
talks about, and I'm not saying I'm doing this because I'm trying really hard, but I'm not doing it well. When you wake up, like the first thing you do is check your phone, and then you're right back into the what was happening yesterday, what's happening now, and what the fuck's happening in the news, and this and that. Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, he talks about not doing that.
Mhm.
The one thing about the jungle, man, you don't have no fucking phone or computer. You know how good that feels? I
Mhm.
swear to God. And I'm somebody that needs my phone and computer,
Yeah.
it's so foreign. I was like, oh my God, I used to feel like this all the time. But what the fuck was I talking about again? Sorry.
Well, you're talking about that doctor then who's
Oh, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Yeah.
yeah, just so we were
Right.
talking about like what he was saying, and all just being in the moment and not be like you said, because there's so many people, and unfortunately, I'm guilty of it sometimes too, and I try not to be, but like, oh wow, look at this,
Yeah,
and
in the morning, yeah, like starting your day off right. So, I pray on my knees to the divine and thank them. I don't ask for shit. And then, I try, and I've been doing pretty well at meditating at least 10 minutes.
wow,
10 minutes of, before I start the madness all over, and I owe myself that. I have to make time for that shit. It's so important. And taking care of my body, like, it's like nowadays I struggle with weed and a little bit of tobacco. And
mhm,
like, if that's my problems now, like, I'm so blessed, but it's been like that for a long time because the ayahuasca, what it did was it changed my view of the world. I said this earlier, of the world, myself, my children, everything, because I dealt with the fucking pain, man.
yeah,
That shit forces you to do it. There's no running, dude. And that's fucking scary. Every single time I'd say, so I'd done ayahuasca 17 times. I'd say 13 out of the 17 walking into the Maloka, I was like, I'm gonna die tonight, you know?
wow,
Scared. But it's just fear in your head. The fucking dude, uh the spirits told me one time my head was like "Blah, blah, 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 blah," and it said shh. I swear to God, it said it like the spirit said shh. And when I did, I said, okay, I was rocketed into another dimension.
wow,
Um, but that's the deal, is like you have to fucking shut your head off. I have to shut my head off, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And be in a healthy way, because your head, dude, people are trapped in their fucking head. I mean, everyone knows that kind of person. They're just trapped in their head, dude.
hmm
We just went through a whole thing internally with a member of the band. Like he was so trapped in his head, we had to replace our bass player, because he was like, people are trapped in their head, dude. So, I try not to be. You ever see The Simpsons where Homer, like, oh, they show what he's thinking and
yeah,
he's just thinking nothing?
yeah.
I have that ability. You know what I mean? So I have for a long time. Thank you, Jesus. But
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing to have, as we mentioned. It's like there's so many things people worry about, including myself sometimes. And like, why am I worrying about this? There's nothing I could do. It's not even. It didn't happen. It might not even happen. Why am I thinking about this? And you just get caught in your head, and you're like trying to get out of that cycle. So,
yeah.
I do my best, and for the most part, I'm pretty good. But every once in a while,
Exercise helps.
yeah,
Also helps physical health, but it helps mental and emotional health too. It does so
yeah,
much, even more so than physical health.
yeah.
I do yoga like 5 or 6 days a week.
Wow.
I box 4 days a week. I do my walk like 5 or 6 days a week, and then I do vocal lessons on the elliptical. Because I heard Jagger jogs and sings his set, and he's like 80.
I was just gonna, it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned it. I was talking to somebody about that. Where like, sometimes we were talking about like different bands like Rolling Stones, Who, and Paul McCartney, and like some bands just look so old. But Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger still looks like he could be he's a rock and roller, still dancing around stage at 80 years old. Paul McCartney I saw live. He still is hilarious. Still sounds great, and he played 35 songs, 3.5 hours. But so yeah, but Mick Jagger still has it. Like you said, he's 80 years old, still dancing around. I didn't
Oh
realize
yeah,
he.
dude.
Yeah,
I took our producer Chris Johnson to see them a few years ago, and we were just blown away. I snuck into the Stones dressing room once by accident.
Would you have one of those fake ID, fake backstage passes?
No, so they were doing this show at the Wiltern out here in LA on Wilshire and Vermont, is it, or Western? And I told my friends, we're going in and sneaking in, who's coming? And they're like, okay. And so I pretended like I was on the phone, you know, the yellow jackets, right? The
Yeah.
security.
Yep.
But I pretend I'm on the phone and I'm like, oh yeah, we're back here now. Oh, just walk through that door. But I was talking that way and making sure they heard me. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like the yellow jacket. So I'm like, okay, we'll be right there. And then I tell the guy, oh, they said go through that door. And he's like, oh yeah. So we walked through that door. And I remember we were walking down the corridor and I stopped dead in my tracks and I go, oh my God, we're in their dressing room. So then I turn around and I bang into somebody, dude, literally bumped into Keith Richards, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, mate." And it took me a couple seconds to even realize and compute that was Keith Richards.
Wow.
So I told my, oh yeah, and then I said to my friend, "Who's that old guy sitting there?" And he goes, "That's Charlie Watts, fool." I was like, "Oh shit." So then I told my friends, if anyone says anything, just drop a Jewish name. We should be good, right? They fuck they so someone's watching us. I'm watching into I bump into Keith Richards. I'm like, who's that guy? It's Charlie. And you know, someone's watching us apparently. And he walks up to my friend and goes, who are you guys with? And he's like, oh yeah, we're with Ira Schwartz or whatever. And he's like,
Louis
yeah,
Feinberg.
no. So suddenly we're getting escorted out. You know what I mean? But we did sneak into their dressing room.
What year was this?
This was like 2003.
Okay, so
You know,
did you have
2003.
besides bumping into Mick and seeing Charlie? Did you run into Mick Jagger?
No, only Keith and Charlie. Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
that would have been badass meeting Mick Jagger. Fuck.
Oh yeah, you definitely have some great stories. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to get back to like your belief because I know you said you've seen so many things on ayahuasca. Did do you? I think you mentioned like in your one of your past lives you were a soldier. Was that correct, or was that you?
Yeah.
Did have you ever gone back and revisited other past lives?
There's a lot of Egyptian stuff. There's a lot of American Indian stuff that I tap into and stuff. Mostly. You know, I remember when I was 15, it's funny, I smoked angel dust with my friend, right? And in New York, angel dust was all the rage back then. And I was on the church steps chanting that I was a Buddhist priest, my friend said. And I didn't know what a Buddhist was back then. It wasn't even in my language. So point is, I've always had strong connections to stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's funny. Years ago, a friend of mine under hypnosis did a past life regression. She started speaking French, and
Oh shit.
yeah, she never. And I heard the tape. It's like holy.
Whoa.
Shit. Yeah, it was
That's
very
awesome.
interesting. And
Yeah, see, that shit's all real, dude. And
Yeah.
you know, Todd, like Krishna's, like George Harrison and Todd, they had their ashes put in the Ganges River.
Mhm.
And whatchamacallit, because they believe, Krishna believe, if you have your ashes put in the Ganges River, that you're taking out of the Earth's life cycles.
Ah, okay.
So in our new song, what's it called? Free at Last, I talk about the second verse is chilling on ice with the youth, looking through the window at the Ganges River while Peligro bangs on his beat with his tribe. So I go in this vision. I'm in this vision. It's me and Todd. We're drinking this drink, cold drink. I don't know, tea at a table. And we're looking at the Ganges River. And there's all these gardens and beautiful children playing and joy and love. And I was like, where's DH? And we felt him. We were still connected to him. He wasn't with us, but that connection never leaves you. You don't, whoever you love, whoever you're connected to, that doesn't fucking go away. Like, we're going to see those people. We're connected to them. We're spiritually tied to them. So that and Free at Last is also the first verse is about Casey Chaos, who when I went to the jungle this last time, as soon as I got to civilization, I'm telling you, the moment I get a text from my friend, Casey's gone.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh no, you know, Casey Chaos from Amen. And
Yeah.
I loved him. I only knew him in the last few years of his life, but we were kindred souls. And we would talk about so much things. But Free at Last is about him too, where what does it say? Oh, the Dark Lords breathe in air, a raven on a branch. From the cottage to the fast lane, got me a dead boy punch that's built to last. So I couldn't wait to tell Casey what went down with the Dead Boys, dude. And I was holding out because I wanted to tell him in person, and because he would have loved it, and I wanted to see his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's why that song is in there. And then what does it say? Oh, the Dark Lords, Dean Carr, who's done a bunch of videos, Slipknot, Manson, Maiden, Slayer. He used to call me and Casey the Dark Lords. So the Dark Lords breathe in air, like just we're being,
Yeah.
And then a raven on a branch means Casey was so punk rock goth. He was death rock, like he was a death rock god to a lot of people. He was in Christian death with Roz, but so a raven on a branch from the cottage to the fast lane. Dude, his house was like the Addams family for real. And then the fast lane part is about he drove like a freak. I remember I got in his car, we went to see the Cro-Mags and Helmet, and I was like, oh yeah, finally somebody that drives like me, like he's like, "Phew." And then yeah, and then got me a dead boy punch that built a lot. So I didn't get to tell him that story, but I'm telling him that in that song because he's come to me in DMT sessions that I've done after the jungle trip.
Wow. Well, you mentioned Cro-Mags, and you also Todd played with John in Blood Clot. Are you friends with them? Because I know the reason I bring that up was because you mentioned Hare Krishnas. I know Harley and John were huge Hare Krishnas in the day. I think John still does it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm friends with Nick Oliveri, of course, and
Yeah.
then I don't really know Joey Castillo, but and then John Joseph, we talk online a little bit, and
Okay.
I mean, I've known him since I was a kid in Harley.
Yeah.
I wish they would fucking get back together, but
I know that's never going to happen, unfortunately.
I know.
I met Harley because my friend Christian Lawrence plays drums for Harley's Cro-Mags, and like I met Harley several times, and yeah, he has nothing but bad things. Actually, I did this was great. It was like a walking tour with John Joseph through New York, through all the different places. He had all these great
Oh,
stories.
you did that with him?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But like those two will never ever be friends. You know what? So I'm sure you saw this, but I love that story about Saturday Night Live with Fair. Did you ever hear that story where they all went on there and they're moshing around? Have you ever seen the clip of that?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's legendary, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That-
And like the producers didn't know. That's the best part is like they pull the punk rock, you know what I mean? Like fully.
Yeah. And I also see like I want to get him on the show is Paris Mayu because I see him. I'm a huge fan of his work. And I love his newer band, but I want to get him on the show too. But you and I have very similar tastes when it comes to like the old punk and even like the 70s and 80s metal.
Yeah, nice.
Well, one of the things I think I heard you mention is like you really weren't a big fan of hair metal. Is that accurate?
No, not really. I mean, there's a few that of course, Guns N' Roses changed my life, but I always say thank God for Seattle because Seattle kind of bumped all the posers out of the way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's
definitely.
legit hard rock for sure. I mean, Jane's Addiction is one of my favorite bands.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Guns, and then there's Junkyard, Circus of Power, Warrior Soul. There's many great bands, but then became a joke. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, no, I agree with that. There are a couple that I do like. I love Motley Crue too. That's if you
me too.
Hear.
But not a joke. It was fake. It wasn't authentic or genuine. That's why thank God for Seattle because that shit was genuine and real. You know what I mean? And people feel that when it's real, it hits people differently than when it's fake. So.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, probably about like 15 minutes ago. That's what I said I love about you. Because you could tell that you're the real deal. You're passionate. You're talented. But like, you're not just going on stage and going through the motions. And sometimes I could see bands from those days just did that. They're like, let's get like 5 or 6 people that look the same, act the same, sound the same, and then put on a show. And then next thing you know, that sort of fades away. All right, let's get 5 more guys and do this and do that. And it's just, after a while, I lost interest myself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But they're great. Faster Pussycat. I love Tammy.
Oh yeah.
Danny from Faster Pussycat, and I filled in when Tracy's singer quit. For LA Guns once for 13 shows. But I had to learn all these songs overnight, basically, and sing them in Atlanta the next day. And then my friends were there, like, I can't believe you pulled it off. But I did have cheat notes, because the lyrics, I was like, yo, bro, I'm like, I don't sing about, velvet boots and stuff. I was like, and if kids are like, singing your words, the singer better know the words, so, but I had a whole system down.
That's funny. You know what's
Tracy
funny?
Glenn schooled me, he's told me a couple things that I'll never forget, you know what I mean? But
Let me
he
tell
told
you.
me he told me if you don't have haters, you're a nobody.
Mhm.
And then one time he told me, dude, you talk too much. Because I was negative back then, sort of
Yeah,
negative, you know what I mean? And he
yeah.
was right. And it
Uh,
just taught me valuable lessons. And then, he shared, of course, some Axel stories and stuff like that in the early days and all that. So, but he was a pleasure to work with, and he's a good dude, great guitar player. He's punk rock as fuck too.
yeah,
Tracy Guns.
I love. You know what's funny? One of my favorite songs from Faster Pussycat, not favorite, I mean favorite cover songs. And I heard it one time. I was like, "Who the hell is this?" It was I love Carly Simon's "You're So
Oh
Vain."
yeah, yeah,
They
that's
do a
great.
kick-ass version of that. I didn't know. I heard it. I mean, this is years ago when it first, and I'm like, "This is phenomenal." I love that. I love the Carly Simon version, but they just amped it up, and
The
they were
video is
very
super
good.
cool. Yeah, the
Yeah.
video.
Yep. No, definitely. I've seen that many times myself.
The
What's your?
second demo I ever did in my life, my second demo was with Brent Muscat from Faster Pussycat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on this? Because I've talked to some people and I get different um, teleprompters on stage.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that because there's been times where I'm like, what the fuck are the words? And then the millisecond before,
Yeah.
dude. But
Oh,
Didi Ramon told me him and Johnny would walk up to each other in the middle of a set and be like, "What song are we in?" You know. So that shit happens. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. No,
But people have that shit for a reason. It's like we as humans we forget. Dude, my friend was playing for Billy Idol. And fucking first gig, he was on bass and all nervous, like, what the fuck? I'm playing with Billy Idol. And then Billy walks up to him, they're playing White Wedding, dude. And Billy's like on stage, "Psst, what's the first words, mate?" And my friend's like, "Hey, little sister." All you need is the first words.
no,
You know?
exactly. I completely understand that because
Mhm.
when I was in bands, same thing too. Sometimes I'd be like, and then as soon as it starts, like, all right, I got it.
Dude, I seen Joey do it a few times with the words. Fuck it up. Dude, one time Didi was playing, and I'm like, those aren't the words. And then he was getting lost in his own songs, and I loved it because he was punk rock and he wrote the songs, which makes it even better. And then that was a night where he said to me, Didi Ramon said, verbatim, dude. He goes, "I gotta quit playing music, Tony." I said, "What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You're Didi Ramon. You just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." And he goes, "None of that shit matters. This shit's killing me." And then he was dead like a week or two later.
Wow.
So, yep.
Yeah. I
But
never. I've seen the Ramones many times. Actually, I think I saw them at the Anthrax. And there's a place, another place in Connecticut. I saw him, but I never met Dee Dee. I did meet Johnny. This was years ago. He was at the Fangoria convention. He was just walking around. I said, "I gotta get a picture with you, Johnny. You're such a
yeah.
cool guy."
Do you know Dee Dee's rap record?
I've heard of it. I never heard it though. I know of it.
It's so bad that it's great.
All right, guys. I definitely have to check this out now. So I
So
knew it
bad that it's
existed.
great. What?
I said I knew it existed. I never heard it though.
Dude, but he called himself Dee Dee King. Dude, it's comical, dude. And he thought it was me and Dylan, my son, we've listened to it and we've laughed so hard. But it's funny because a few songs, Debbie Harry sings backups, and it's like she comes in and cleans up the mess, dude, and makes the whole fucking song because she's her sexy, sultry fucking shit.
Oh yeah.
And then Dee Dee's ridiculousness. And then we would talk to him, we'd be like, "Yo, what about your rap record?" He's like, "I'm not a Negro. I can't rap." I'd be like, "Bro, what the hell?" He was so
That's
sweet. Dude, he was a little kid spirit in a grown man's body, like he was a beautiful soul, man. He was
yeah.
so cool. Punk rock to the bone, dude,
Yeah. I love the Ramones. Have you ever met Joey?
Yeah, a few times I met him, talked
Yeah.
to him and stuff. I remember one time I was like, I was a kid. I was like, "Dude, your songs, the Ramones saved my life." And he's like, "Oh, thanks."
A man of many words.
Yeah. I fucking love the Ramones, dude. See, we open up with Durango 95,
Oh wow.
but we do it half of what they did it. But that we do that as a tribute to them
Yeah.
before we do anything. And we usually start the set with Letters from the Psych Ward, then Mississippi Moonhound and Up in Smoke. That's usually how we start. But
Well, I love every Ramones song. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's like 30 seconds later, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next thing is it's like 4 hours later, 1, 2, 3. It's just
I remember being
going.
a kid and being like, how does the drummer do it? Because he was playing for 2 hours nonstop,
I
basically.
know. Let's talk about Letters from the Psych Ward. I love the story of this. Where did the title come from?
I was at this therapy session and I said to the therapist, she's not writing me back, she's not texting me, blah blah blah. And he goes, why would she do that? That's like Letters from the Psych Ward. And I was like, what? I go, Letters from Psych Ward. I was like, that's the name of my next record. Bye.
My work is done here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I got what I needed. Yeah, that's a great title and a great. I love. Trying to think what the video from that I saw. I mean, if I watched all the videos I could find of your band, and every one that said are you for the videos? Are you the one that creates the concept, or you have the concept and you put it together, or do you have a team?
I've got to work with a lot of like Thomas Crane did a bunch of our videos. He's great. And then we have this one guy, the last 2 videos, Mississippi Moonhound and Up in Smoke.
Yeah.
We did with Magic Studios out of Houston, and they're super great. Kareem and his staff, and we just did 2 videos a week or 2 ago for the next 2 singles. The next single is called Dying for You. And man, when I played that for our crew guy, he's from Little Rock. He's a Southern boy, like worked for Saliva their whole career. And then when he heard that song, he cried.
Wow.
Yeah, but that song, Dying for You, it's so symbolic too, because man, my relationship, it was killing me, dude. It was literally killing me. And I had to let go of her, and still pieces of my heart love her. I love her, but I can't ever do that to myself ever again. And like, I'm not dying for anyone. I have children, not with her.
Mm-hmm.
But and she was not good to me, dude, but I did fucking love her. And especially after losing Tracy and Bianca, like I was like, man, if I ever get love again, like they're getting it all, you know what I mean? And that's what happened, and it wasn't reciprocated. So dying for you, it's actually I'm not dying for you, but it's so symbolic, the lyrics for this song. I love the second line in the second verse, tastiest meow I've ever purred.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely truth in that. But I love that line. The ladies love that line too. So, I've never, since I was a kid, and I'm not like bragging, but I've never had any problem with the ladies or anything. But like, I want to have a connection and shit. Like, I don't want deep shit, like, I want to have a partner in life, and man, I'm at my house by myself a lot, but that's okay too. I had to do that for myself. But I feel like with my ex-wife, that it's behind me now, but I find myself looking back sometimes, but it's pretty. I never thought I would get through it ever. I really didn't,
Yeah.
So
I think it's good to have a healthy balance, because my girlfriend always calls me the lone wolf, because I'm very independent and I like doing a lot of things by myself, but it always is nice to come home to somebody. So I know exactly what you mean by that.
yeah. Everybody deserves that,
I want a question for you, because I've talked to other musicians about this. Do you pick the singles, or does it the record company says, I think this is going to be the next single? Because I've heard bands say, you know what, that's not my favorite song. I'd rather have this as a single. Like, no, trust me, we want this. So who gets it for Blacklist Union? Who gets the choice in that matter?
Well, we have a manager, Paul Crosby. We have a strategy, and we kind of stick with that. Mississippi Moonhound and Up in Smoke, like our kind of goal with those was Mississippi Moonhound, we're gonna get their attention. Up in Smoke, we're gonna have their attention. And then Dying for You is like shit's so good, it's like I'm really proud. I remember I wrote the chorus and I couldn't get the verses, and I was like, but then I kept singing the chorus. I was like, oh no, that chorus is too good. So I had to do a couple rewrites on it, but it came out killer. So
all right. So which brings me to Slay the Dragon. It's coming out in September. Right now, it's August 4th. So next month sometime. Uh, what was the concept of that album?
Well, when I went to the jungle and I was feeling the medicine and I was starting to go under into spiritual world, the spirits told me the first thing, slay the dragon. And I was like, okay. Like I didn't that wasn't on my list, of things to do. It wasn't on my to-do list. Uh, and that just came at me. And so that's where the title comes from. And then the title track, it's really heavy, man. There's a lot of lyrical substance where I'm talking about a lot of the people I saw, like Wayne Sweeney and Lindy, Paul's ex-wife that I was talking about earlier, and Cody, Josie's son, and
Yeah.
all of those things. So, my ex-wife Tracy and Bianca, my grandmother, you know.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know Dio would love that title. Slay the Dragon.
Right. Fucking Ronnie. All he sings about is purple dragons and castles. I'm getting sick of this shit.
That is funny. I love that.
Dude, that's a great rock and roll moment right there. I used to be like, me and Jimmy would get so high, and I'd be like, "Yo, Jimmy, tell me some Bon Scott stories." He'd be like, "I already told you all the fucking Bon Scott stories, Tony West." I'd be like, "Oh, okay."
All right. Well, Tony West, can you tell me a Bon Scott story? 'Cause I am a huge Bon Scott fan.
Yeah, I mean, I forget what the fuck he told me, but
Okay. All right. So, all right. I'm guessing I already know the answer to this because there are a few bands where once like the lead singer leaves and he's like had a profound impact in the band, then a new one comes in. And my example I'm using obviously is Bon Scott and then Brian Johnson. Do you have a favorite singer of AC/DC with that?
Oh, I mean, I could
I'm
sing
looking at the poster, so I think I know, but
I could sing Bon Scott like nobody's business. I don't even touch Brian Johnson stuff.
yeah. I
But
like
of
I
course,
like the Brian Johnson stuff, but if you go back to
I
um,
like the other stuff.
Big Balls, Let There Be
Yeah.
Rock, TNT, and there's so many great songs that
Rock and Roll Damnation.
Oh yeah,
Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be. Fucking Touch Too Much.
yep,
Walk All Over You, man. All
yep.
that stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. So for me, if I had to pick one, it would definitely be the Bon Scott years for
Yeah, yeah.
AC/DC.
I sing a lot of those songs. I have a whole rapport of AC/DC that I sang, and Sabbath and Aerosmith, and I mean, a lot of different STP. I mean, like every other singer, I submitted 3 songs to them when they were looking for a singer, and then I got a call back, and they sent me 3 of the actual tracks, so I got to record on the tracks, STP tracks. But yeah, they got a guy that they got, so. But that would have been fun. But Scott Weiland did come to me in ayahuasca saying, "Great job on the songs. You didn't want that gig anyway." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Thanks, Scott.
I had a lot of run-ins with him over the years. He was so fucking badass, dude. That guy, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, what a performer, dude. What a singer. The Velvet Revolver shit's just total fire, dude.
Mhm.
I got to be at the record release party for that at the Wiltern, and man, that was just a moment, a rock and roll moment. They were so fucking badass, Velvet Revolver, man. I swear.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of their music. So
Yeah, yeah. And SDP was amazing. Like, I love how Scott almost, he was punk rock, but he had this almost like GQ thing,
yeah.
which is punk rock, man. That's the true spirit of punk rock. Like, and as a performer and his lyrics and just, I just thought he was great.
Hmm.
SDP, I always say SDP. They know how to get into a hook and out of a hook.
Hmm.
Like, they're masters. And Dean DeLeo, what a guitar tone and guitar player, man. Like,
Wow, man, so many great bands out there, and like I said, I love the fact that you had a chance to rub elbows with a lot of these people, meet them, and play with them, and you know, you're just carrying that torch to the next generation.
thank you, sir.
So I know we talked about the album coming out. Besides that, what's next for Blacklist Union and Tony West, and where can people find you?
We're not hard to find, Google's your friend. Blacklist, one word, Union, and blacklistunion.com and all the platforms. We're on all of them. So, and then again, like I just want to make a call out to the greats that are out there. Like, please give us a chance. Like, Joe and Steven from Aerosmith, Six from Motley, or Axel and Duff and Slash, Mike Ness, or even the guys in Steel Panther, or Josh and Stevie and Buck Cherry. Like, please give us a chance. Like, we want to come rock with y'all and show you what we got, and show your audience what we got, and we'd be honored to do it. Like, we just bring it. We gotta bring the fire. So that's what we're looking to do, is bring the fire in a big way here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the new album coming out. I'm definitely looking forward to you coming to the Northeast so I can check you out live. And I'm looking forward to years and years of great rock and roll from Blacklist Union or whatever else you end up doing even after that.
Right on. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I know we talked about it a lot, and I'm sure there's so much that I left out. Was there anything else you want to talk about that we didn't mention?
I don't think so.
Tried to get it all in. And I'm so glad. I know we had some interruptions in between, but this is a great
Oh, yeah, sorry
interview.
about that.
You were so much fun to talk to. And like I said, your life is like an open book for the whole world to read. And
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of that book.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you got a chapter 1 and a chapter 2.
Yeah.
And then you got to see a day in the life, dude, where I dropped my Harley. It's my phone wouldn't charge. Then I had to Uber back. Like, the guy that works at the country store, I sat in his Tesla to charge my phone to call Uber. You know, luckily I only live 5 minutes away, but so I Uber home. Yeah.
I
And my
can say out
computer.
of all the interviews I've done, I've never had one start like that. So
Hey, well, a day in the life. You got to, like David Roach from Junkyard said, like, that's life in Hollywood. Their big song and stuff.
oh yeah.
You got to roll with the punches. And again, like, my bike is there at the store. Like, but what am I going to do? I have a Harley and I have AAA. So in the morning, I'm going to call AAA. It's good there overnight. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason to fret, is my point.
Oh, yeah.
Shit comes up, deal with it, walk through it. Like, I have to do that, and it's not always easy, but
No, I love the fact because I couldn't see what was going on. All I heard was like, "Yeah, I dropped my bike. Yeah, Blacklist Union. Yeah, I just dropped my bike. All right, yeah, Tony
yeah.
West."
What band are you in? Well, what's your name? Yeah, that's what they were saying.
But you were saying it so calmly, like we're having a conversation like right now. You were just saying, "Yeah, Tony West just dropped my bike. Blacklist Union. Okay, Rich, I'll talk to you in a little bit." It was just, I loved it. That was like the best opening of any interview I've ever done.
Nice, dude. Well, you know what? You can take the guy out of New York, but you can never take the New York out of the guy. Because I tell you what, dude, even though I've been here fucking a long time, I'm still New York as fuck. It's like,
Right.
and then get me around New Yorkers and a little alcohol, then the New York really comes out. But I've never been like a Guido where, like, yo, hey. Like, those guys beat me up in school because I was punk rock in Yonkers. I was like the only punk rocker, one of the only ones.
So did you give up drinking 100%, or do you still every once in a while?
Alcohol leads to trouble. Like, maybe once in a while I'll have wine,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not big on alcohol. It's so hard on the body too, on my body, that shit'll ravage your body, so you get everything in small doses,
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I agree with that. So I think because people either like are all or nothing. It's like I can't do it, but it's like moderation is key. If you have,
See,
like
yeah.
you say, a glass of wine here and there, or just do, but don't like because people that give it up 100%, then that's when they crave it even more, and then they'll just fall off the wagon. But if you just do a little bit here and there, you can
It's
just
hard.
yeah.
Ozzy and Steven Tyler, they have hard times. And I'm the same way. I've been going in and out of AA for years, but AA, I've done the steps. It got me on the path of healing.
Yeah.
So there's people in AA that will frown upon the ayahuasca, this and that, but it's not drugs. Ayahuasca is not drugs. It's honestly, it's medicine. I swear to you, it is medicine. I've done every drug there is. Ayahuasca is medicine.
Mhm.
Spiritual medicine, the most powerful medicine you can get on this fucking planet is that.
Wow.
But people in AA have different opinions, and that's okay, but like, I have a hard time with it. Like, I can go through droughts of being sober, but then I have to smoke a little weed. You know what I mean? Or like I'm hanging out with a chick and I want to get shitty on wine with her and like make out, like
Yeah.
something like that, but like not using alcohol or pot or drugs or whatever as a crutch to bury pain,
Yeah.
because I've dealt with so much. I'm not the same person that sought those remedies, for other reasons. But when I was a kid, man, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it was bad, and I turned to drugs really young, man. And I'm a father, like I'll make damn sure my kids are okay, and you know what I mean. It's like my father wasn't a good guy, you know what I mean. But lots of people have that problem, so
Yeah.
I'm not the
Well,
only
being
one.
in the profession you're in, it must have been extremely difficult to be around these people because I'm sure, a lot of them like to party and a lot of them like to do different things. And then you're there trying to stay sober. Was that really tough in the very, I'm sure it's still tough for you.
No, not at all. Most people are sober nowadays in music.
Oh, really?
Like
Okay.
completely sober. Yeah, and it's for me, I mean, I know a lot of people that have been sober for years that are very, very successful, and but like, dude, I have a hard time. Like I sometimes I have to smoke weed or even microdose, I'll do that and people frown upon it, but this is what works for me. Everyone's different. I'm not a factory human, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm in my own, I'm me, you know what I mean? So, but I'm doing okay, so I get a little too kooky on the weed sometimes. Like, I can't smoke that shit a lot, only sparingly.
Yeah.
Same with tobacco. Like, I have to be careful. I smoke the most healthy tobacco you can get. It's the fucking A grade American Spirit, and then you roll it up yourself and smoke it because the manufactured cigarettes in the United States, dude, that shit should be criminal. What the fuck they're putting in that shit, man?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, where there's benzene, there's fiberglass, all this fucked up shit, and
Wow.
mostly in the filter that you're inhaling. But the way they treat the tobacco after they, crop it and stuff too, with poisons and pesticides and all this shit. So,
Yeah.
you
Well, it's
know,
funny you mentioned it's called American Spirit, right?
yeah,
Yeah. My brother smokes that. Like he doesn't roll them, but it's made, but I know he smokes American Spirit.
right, right.
He was saying basically the same thing as what you were just saying.
Yeah, the other cigarettes like the Marlboro, the Camel, dude, I can't even stand the smell of it. It's so fucking toxic. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is crazy, man.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't be smoking tobacco at all, but I like it sometimes. So
No, like you said, every once in a while, you're just moderation. Moderation is
yeah,
the key.
yeah.
Well, Tony, it was a pleasure talking to you. I'd
You as
love to
well,
have you back
bro.
on the show anytime, and I'm hoping that I can maybe when the album comes out, which is actually next month, when you're on tour, we'll talk some more because I'm sure you have so many stories that we haven't even
Oh God, yeah.
delved into. Yeah, so
Dylan will beat my son and be like, Dad, tell me some stories. Still. Tell me this story, tell me that story.
all right.
I can't wait till my daughter starts liking me again. I can tell her some stories. Good Lord, 13-year-old girls in today's world, dude. Woo.
Oh yeah, I don't have any kids myself, but I have a lot of friends that have kids, and they told me that was the most difficult age. Like I'm a friend, well, her daughter's 19 now, but she told me like 13 through 15 was terrible for her.
Yeah,
So
that's really bad.
hopefully, very soon, you two will be back together again, and everything will be good.
Right on. Thank you, bro. Well, it's been
All
a
right.
pleasure. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
All right.
Yo, send me, you have my email, right?
I do have your email, so I'm gonna send you the interview.
No, send me your address. Do you have our records and stuff?
No, I've been using Spotify, so I do want to. I would love to get some albums or CDs or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I'll send you some stuff and then
Yeah,
and
please.
then email me what size shirt you wear.
Okay, I will definitely do that.
Yeah,
I appreciate. So I've been going through Shauna with this. So should I go through her
yeah.
to
Yeah.
get your email address?
No, I can give it to you. Do you have it?
No, because let me just take it down right now because I know I sent Shauna the link to send to you. So
Yeah, yeah.
let me just get into mine. All right, I'm ready.
Tony West period 111 at Gmail.
Tony West period 111 at Gmail. All right, perfect.
All
I
right,
will
bro.
I, I will send you a link or I'll send you an email and then also when the interview's done I'll send it to you so we can promote the hell out of this because I want as
Awesome.
many people to know about Blacklist Union as possibly can. Get the word out. You guys are great.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Sorry about all the hiccups.
No, I loved it. That's what it made the interview so much fun. I was like,
Rock
oh,
and
here we
roll.
go again. It's just,
Rock and roll, dude. So you can rock, but you got to be able to roll too. So we got that part down too. You got to rock and roll. It's called rock and roll. what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I was rolling with the punches myself. It's like, you know,
Nice,
we're
nice.
going to make this work. Let me just, I'll be home in 20 minutes. All right, we got this. So we
Right on.
finished the interview, and it was just as good as I knew it was going to be, and just as interesting as it was going to be. So thanks for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, bro.
Have a great night.
All right, you too. All right, bye.
That wraps up the latest episode of the Claus Corner. A huge thanks goes out to singer, songwriter, and musician Tony West for taking time out of his extremely busy schedule to be a guest on my show and to share his fascinating story. I also need to thank editor extraordinaire John Bristol of the award-winning Element Productions for always doing a superb job editing the show each and every week and making it available to all on YouTube. I am also extremely grateful to Rob Bull and Dale Coles for all they do to make my show available on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, as well as a cable station in Connecticut. And lastly, but definitely not least, I need to thank you, the viewer, for always tuning in. Enjoy your day, everyone. And we are out of here.